What's up, everyone? Make sure you check out the WesWes Network website at weswesnet.com. Here you can find amazing independent podcasts based in Aotearoa, covering everything from pop culture to mental health. Also, if you enjoy our content and want to support us, please consider clicking on the support button on the homepage of the website. We appreciate your patronage and look forward to delivering more thought-provoking and quality conversations.
WesWes, y'all.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
We were talking before about the Flying Bat. So Batsman Brewery. It was interesting, their story about the cans, because it was so expensive.
The cans?
For them to put their beer in cans. It was much cheaper for them to sell them in kegs.
Like a whole keg?
It's much cheaper that way. I think it's kind of like, I forgot what he said, but he said it's real expensive. Maybe it's like half the price. Each can is like half the price.
I guess the process of just chucking it into a can but it's about the same as bottling it, or cans just seem to be harder.
I think it sounds like bottles are harder, but cans must be easier than bottles. But then cans are expensive too. So I wonder, well, how much bottles cost? They must be real expensive.
Yeah, it'd be interesting when you get these guys on there.
Yeah, so these only sold in 2 stores: Mount Ruskell Liquorland and Mount Albert Liquorland. And I think they have on tap at the beer spot in Morningside.
Oh, yeah, in Morningside.
Yeah. Have you been to that place? The beer spot?
I've only seen the sign. What is it? Is it a bar? Or just an outlet?
It's like a put together place that's got like maybe 20 taps along the back, and the beers are written.
Oh, labelled on.
Yeah, but they're written by hand in black vivid. The names of the beers.
Oh, what? And they just change it every time?
Yeah, so I think it's like try to support those microbreweries.
Oh,
there must be a lot.
Yeah, and they just bring them in.
Because this might be a lot. So these guys are a permanent fixture at that place, the Morningside beer spot. There's another beer spot in Kumu.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what it's called, the beer spot.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So I think that's what they do. They just support local microbreweries. But the cool thing about the beer spot is that they do those taps, and then they have like a food truck, a featured food truck.
Each week?
Like a different food truck every time. Might be every week or every month. But I know the one in Kumu, they have a rotation of food trucks outside their beer spot.
Oh.
So they got outdoor furniture. You can sit down and have a beer and have a eat.
Well, whereabouts in Kumu is it?
Probably at the main shops. I've never really been there, but I've heard that's what they do. But as opposed to, because I think the Kumu one's outdoors, but I think opposed to the one in Morningside is indoors.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And the food truck's outside. But there's outdoor seating as well.
And they open every day?
I drove past today. It was open. It was open. No, it's like a community thing, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's just like a made-up bar that... It'd be cool to have one around here, but I don't know if the trust will allow.
Yeah, what's happening with that? You got any update from those guys? The local elections just finished. I saw someone went unopposed for the trust stuff.
Yeah, the guy that always comes, Nick.
Yeah.
He heads that WarTech, that their group. He didn't get in, but I think 4 or 5 of his members did get in.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is 3 more than last time.
Okay.
So it's getting there.
And so they're still trying to push that same agenda.
Yeah, it's interesting the whole what they're trying to fight for and what the public understand and what they don't understand, the communication side of it. Because I think the trusts feed on the whole narrative of if you have alcohol in every corner, everyone's gonna be drunk and disorderly and crime will rise. And, they feed off that. I think that's what makes people. Oh no, that's a good positive thing that we have the trust to control that kind of stuff.
I don't think, there's worse things at the moment than alcohol.
Yeah, like the price of them. Like it's average like $6-10 more than the rest of Auckland.
Than the rest, yeah, exactly.
And the convenience too. I mean, but it's not even just that. For me, it's the establishments around West Auckland. You know, it's controlled.
And I guess that's what they were saying. Yeah, just the cookie cutter, same kind of bars.
Yeah,
And they've kind of all is Black Salt even open still?
it is. Apparently, they sold it. Sold it to a private person.
Oh, but it still comes under the same kind of guidelines.
Yeah, it has to.
It's private.
So you can open a bar anywhere in West Auckland as long as the trust approve. And one of their things is that you have to serve food. You just can't be a bar.
It can't just be a bar. I get
Yeah.
it.
So it has to be like a restaurant / bar or pub. Because they did let over in Hobsonville Way the little creatures to open up there.
Is that still going?
I think so.
Oh,
They've got that. Have you been there? In Hobsonville.
I don't know.
There's a big massive like hangar.
Oh, yeah.
Like a big building, like a warehouse, and they've high ceiling. It's just a massive warehouse, and inside you've got all these wooden tables and seats, and they got a big bar there, and you just order food and get your beer and eat, drink and eat.
Little creatures. Nah, I haven't been there. Oh, mind you, I haven't been out. Have you been to that pool bar in Northwest?
Pool bar.
Opposite
in that main square.
opposite the library. Yeah.
Yeah, I went there.
Yeah, it's all right. All right for a pool bar.
Yeah. I went there to watch the last Blues game, I think, but not the final. I think it was the game before.
Oh yeah.
It was the game when they didn't have the starters. They put on their C team.
Oh yeah.
'Cause it didn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. It looks like it didn't matter because they got wasted in the final. Fuck.
It's not been there. Yeah, because I was in Wellington for that with Sai.
Oh, because I did this running, eh?
Yeah.
Did you run too?
Yeah. It was that half.
How was that?
Yeah, that was alright. It was flat, so it was. Yeah, it was a half marathon. We
Oh,
finished
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you guys go? It was like for me, it was around the bays, eh? You know, just walk it.
Yeah.
But you know, my bad hip. I tried to run it. I made it to the helicopter pad place.
Oh yeah. Meccano with the restaurants.
It is at the beginning, right?
Oh yeah.
So the starting line to that Meccano place, that's when I just walked all the way after that.
Had you done any training? That's the thing, like, because I thought, doing a half marathon was like the achievement, like just to participate. But when I told people at work, I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing a half marathon. They're like, you've been training? I'm like, oh yeah. They're like, oh, what's your time you're going for? I'm like, oh, I just want to finish. And they're like, oh, okay. Yeah. So my mate's been training for the Auckland one coming up in a few weeks.
Oh yeah.
My boss has been training for it. Yeah, and so he's going for like 2 hours.
Oh.
For the half marathon, like his target, he wants to go sub 2 hours. Oh, sure. But so they got pace setters. Like you'll see like a group, and they kind of have a person who will run at that pace. So if that's why you've been training, then you just stick with that group.
Oh, sure.
And it makes it a bit easier if you've kind of set yourself like, oh yeah, I've been training at that, so that's the person I'll run with. Yeah.
Oh, so you can have your different levels during the time you're running, eh?
Yeah, and trying to have your own targets, but different levels of people who actually run, and then people who want to do a half marathon.
How was the weather?
It was rubbish down there. It was cold, and so it wasn't too bad, but because it's around the coastline of the waterfront, so it's a nice view, but just the sea breeze is a bit cold for Wellington. And when was it? July, I think.
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
I think did you guys run around the coast where it goes around towards the airport? The back way, the back way.
So the back way all across that waterfront. So it's a nice run. It's flat all the way. Yeah, so for the people who actually run, I think they found it easy.
How many people was it back?
I think it was about 5,000 contestants. Yeah, so it
wow.
wasn't too bad. Yeah, you start from the stadium.
Oh, yeah. And when you end up back at the stadium, there's a loop.
Yeah, and you loop back to the stadium, but That's one of those loops when you see the stadium for ages. I thought it was closer.
Nah. Good job, man. Good job. You guys went on that. I know. Yeah.
Well, because they also raised quite a bit of funds for that, for ice.
Because he had his own one over there.
Yeah, so he did another one in
So
October.
what was that event? That was like a Brisbane.
Melbourne.
Oh,
That was the
Melbourne.
Melbourne marathon. Yeah, so it's quite a big one. So
Full marathon.
Nah, he did a half
Oh,
again. Yeah.
Shit. So what's a marathon? How many Ks?
42 kilometers.
Oh, shit. So 21 is how? Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And 2 hours is pretty competitive to do it in 2 hours.
I think so. But there was quite a few people who do it. Like they have like an hour and a half kind of group as well. So there's some people who just bang it out.
Damn. So did you guys just go down? Well, what else did you guys do?
Oh, yeah, no, I think one thing we noticed was, I guess a lot of people noticed, just the eateries are good down in Wellington, eh?
Yeah.
Kind of the nightlife down there is still... So that was what one thing was quite interesting to see. Wellington's like really back to normal. Like their nightlife was good. Their, eateries were full and, central. And that's what I was saying to them a lot, compared to Auckland, where you... Well, actually, I think we've kind of recovered. We're getting back. I was out a couple of weekends ago on a Friday and it seemed pretty good.
In town?
Yeah. So it's starting to kind of get back up there. But
I like Wellington, the town, because it's compact.
yeah,
And you can get everywhere.
Yeah, everything's right there and just the different streets. It's easy to walk around. Yeah, it's a good city.
That Cuba Street,
Yeah.
that's vibrant, eh?
Yeah, man, just the different kinds of foods too. It's not just the same old too. Yeah, I think that's what was cool about that place.
So Courtney Place, you guys hit Courtney.
I wish I could remember.
Yeah, because Danny's down there. He's down there working.
Oh, yeah.
Not sure what film he's working on. Because he finished that Lord of the Rings or the Rings of Power that's on Amazon right
the
now.
one that's on now. Yeah.
So that was like a season 1 just shot here until they left. But there's a bit of a... I don't know if it was sad, but they left when I think they used our government because the government paid.
Oh, that's right. When they're doing all those grants
Yeah.
to film here, come over. Also, they just did the one season and then that's it.
Yeah, and then now they're off. So that left Danny and all the guys, all those guys working, trying to look for other jobs. And that.
Oh, because it only came for that one season. And then,
Yeah, because it's pretty much every time a big production like that comes here, it's pretty much like you try and get the contract for the duration of the filming. If it's a series, it's good because it takes maybe a year and a half or a year, so that's you locked up for the whole year.
Yeah, for the whole series.
And then by the time when it's almost a month, maybe like when it's like a month, it's gonna be there's a month left. Then they start looking for other places, other jobs in that.
Yeah.
So they try to secure all these other jobs. So it's good for the industry that productions come here.
Yeah. I guess that's the nature of contract work, though. Eh? Like just like players, they gotta keep jumping in and out and making sure they've got what's the next gig.
There was this girl at my work. She left to work there, to work in the industry. So she left my work. She got a job being a prop designer.
But was she an architect?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She got bored of it.
Like props, like the actual
Props
little
for
robot. Or
she was working on Lord of the Rings, so she was making all those little prop things.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So all the set design and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all built on in the studio, and then they film it. So it was pretty interesting because she was talking about how they could like work for months on something and only gets 5 seconds on the shot.
Yeah, but that's their project.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you deliver this thing that looks like something and...
Yeah.
But still physical props. It's
still physical props, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Even in studios when they make those buildings and that, you got the green screen as well for the backdrops.
Yeah, so those props, so she's kind of doing physical ones, but will she be expected to be able to draw the digital ones too, or?
Not sure. I think she's just fully on the physical props.
Just crafting stuff.
Yeah. It's interesting because there's props like it depends on the actor too. The actor might want a book. If there's a scene where actor's reading a book, he might want the actual words to be written in the style of the time. Because he has to get into character.
Yeah.
Even though no one's gonna see it, it's just for him, his personal art to.
That's the special actors for that.
There's Tom Cruise kind of actor's name, man.
Man, that guy. I finally watched that the new Top Gun.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it's the same but updated.
Pretty much, yeah. But he's like still the man. I don't know how you do that.
I don't know how he stays young, man. Hey, even though he's got a little bit of wrinkles, but like if you compare him to his young days, it still looks the same.
Yeah, I don't know if that's touched up CGI, but he's looking really good for his age.
You know, that guy, he's a professional actor. Eh?
Oh yeah,
professional actor. Really like look after his body and.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. Yeah, he knows that's his job, so just spends his career just doing his workouts. Scientology, it's a Scientology, bro.
I heard there's one around here. Someone was saying they went past the Scientology place in Auckland.
Oh, I know there's one out in Pemure.
Oh, really?
Remember there's the one near the big roundabout and there's a big, you see along the top, says Scientology.
Oh, hey, I haven't been around there lately.
Yeah, that was way back when I was working out those ways, maybe, probably 2010, way back then.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that must be still going, because, man, that is, have you read up on that? The Scientology?
I don't even understand it. Yeah.
It's fucking weird, man. Honestly. You know, it's made up by a guy. He's an author. He's a science fiction author.
Oh, yeah.
And it's made up by him.
Oh, so it's not actual science, it's just science fiction.
I don't know. He probably made it into a thing. But he was, his origin, the guy that invented Scientology, he started it. Yeah. He was a science fiction writer of books, of novels. Just fantasy science fiction novels.
But what is it? Is it a religion or is it a...
It's a religion.
Oh, it is a religion.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know how they got that past the line. But... because they get the whole tax thing, the tax incentives like normal churches do.
But it's a business, isn't it? Like, well, I guess I don't know.
When it comes to religion, they don't get taxed, no.
Yeah, no, it's all free, so no tax. But
so they've managed to come under the religion umbrella and go forward with their Scientology and not paying any tax.
It's interesting though. It's not like a major it's not like they have evangelists for Scientology. Not that I've ever seen.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how there's Auckland one here. And
must be secret society, like it'll be special. They make you wanna be in it. The less people know, like, oh, no, I want to be part of that. See, and then it turns into his other movie. What's his other movie? Eyes Wide Closed or something. Oh. Yeah, that's where he got a Scientology from.
Then all these mentions pop up. All these mentions pop up. You don't know what's going on in there. Nah, but Tom Cruise, man, I don't know. It would be weird if he's old. He's an old man.
Yeah, what's he now? Probably pushing 60, 59, 58.
Bro, he looks 60. I think he's 60. He's looking like 30.
Yeah, exactly. Well, bro, my daughter was laughing because she was like, oh, that movie. And I'm like, yeah, that's the guy from the original. She's like, oh. I'm like, yeah, he's an old man. She's like, oh, I thought he's like 21. I was like, oh, flip. Yeah, so it's crazy. This guy, even the kids think he's young. So I'm like, mate.
But you remember his love interest in the first Top Gun? Kelly McGillis.
Yep.
Have you seen her now? What she looks like now?
Yeah.
If you see her now, that's the reason why she's not in the sequel.
She came in something though, wasn't there like a reboot or something, and she was in that one?
I don't know.
I don't know if it was maybe there was something, and she came back as like the Colonel or something. Maybe it was some spin-off.
There was a spin-off that Hot Shots with Charlie Sheen.
Nah, not that's the funny one, eh?
Yeah.
Nah.
Or was there a spin-off? I don't know.
No, yeah, there was something like, and she comes back, but yeah, she's older, and that's when everyone's like, oh,
true. But see, they swapped her out for Jennifer Connelly. Yeah. So she's the new girl, and
she's meant to be that same character.
No, she's a different character, right?
Okay. Yeah. I was just saying, I'm missing the storyline. I watched the whole movie.
Oh. It's like Yeah, I just imagine if Kenny McGuinness was in the second one and like they're married and they got kids and that's what she looks like. You know, at home.
Take my breath away.
And he's still looking young as, like he's jumped in the time machine and went forward or something again.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Everyone from that guy's generation must be angry at him. It's like, must be something though. Like, what's all that? That can't just be training. Like, even his face. Oh, mind you, you look at Pharrell. Pharrell's the same. Must be just genes or something.
Yeah. Although you don't have to be pretty to sing.
Oh, but you know the way he hasn't aged.
Yeah.
Yeah. Must be just those genes because he's still looks like he's 20s.
Well, yeah, I think Tom Cruise is the classic example for a real professional actor that looks after his body, looks after his face. I think being young, that's why he gets all those parts, eh? I think all his characters are like mid-30s, eh? 30, 25 to 30.
That he's still
role.
Yeah, because even that that Jack Reacher role, you know, the box, that's like a 30-year-old. So it's out of it that he's the character for it.
Well, there's him and Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt's another one that looks after himself, eh?
Has he done anything lately, though?
He's done that Bullet Train. Have you seen that one? Bullet Train? That's like a movie cross between Quentin Tarantino and Guy Ritchie.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice.
And I think it doesn't go.
Oh, I was going to say, you get two good kind of ways of doing a movie. Then they're similar, though, like A Broken Story, which is...
Yeah. The action is good, though. The action's cool. The story's a bit off, I thought. But the action's pretty cool. But I think Brad Pitt plays the older guy anyway.
Older character in the movie. Yeah.
Although he's doing all the action moves and that. But yeah, man. So what are you up to, man?
Nothing. Yeah, just I guess I'd say work, but yeah, work's been full on. So yeah, nothing much. Yeah, I feel a bit off, just tired. I think it's those couple of days trying to catch up on the league.
Oh yeah, man. Certainly, man. Did you stay up? No, we all stayed up. We were all on the chat.
Yeah, I crashed early on Saturday specifically too because I was wondering, like, I knew if I caught up with my bros, they'd try and do those soldier all the way. And I was like, nah, I'm going to miss the game if I do that. Yeah, so I crashed early so I could wake up for the game. So I woke up at about 1. Yeah, and then just trying to hype for the game.
Sorry, man. I went to 21st and we're drinking there, but I was just slow. I wanted to watch the game. And I actually went for a nap at about 12:30.
Wait, the 21st?
No, at home. I got home early. Because they were all carrying on. Because the adults, they were all carrying on. And I was like, oh, nah, I'm going to go. I want to watch the game. So I came home, I actually had a nap, and I woke up 2:30, and I was like, fuck, I think I missed the start. But I was right on time. I turned it on, and I missed the haka. They finished the Sivatel. But man, that was a build-up game.
Yeah, I'm still confident. I think it was just first game nerves or something. Just I guess England had a starter game, but
because someone didn't have a warm-up game.
So I don't know why some teams got warm-ups. Maybe it's just each team's choice. But they just. Yeah, they were coming together all right, but just heaps of mistakes, just like almost nervous or just pushing it too much.
Well, those mistakes, that equates to not having a warm-up game.
I think so. Like even you look at New Zealand. Well, New Zealand, they had a warm-up game though, because they were pushing a few passes too.
They played Leeds, I think.
Okay, like just a local.
Yeah.
They
played Leeds, but they struggled too the first half. I saw the second half at work. I was watching it at work. And when it was the second half, when I turned it on, I think it was 18-6 or 12-6.
Oh, yeah.
And I was thinking, oh, shit.
I
thought they would be way ahead. But then they scored 3 quick tries.
Yeah. At the end of the first, no, Lebanon were doing all right. But I think it's just the same, like, I guess it's that next level of, kind of getting blowout, just tired. Just a few of those players just not at that same level. Yeah, because I guess they were saying the same about Samoa. I don't know if it was that. Like, these guys have kind of been playing at top level. There's no reason for them to feel like it's a lot faster.
It's, if they treated this as a warm-up game, it's one hell of a warm-up game. Because, I don't know, if they finish second, they'll play Tonga, because Tonga's going to finish first. They've seen Tonga's pool's not that great a pool.
Who was in their pool? I think it's
Scotland?
Yeah, the same pool of Scotland and
who did Scotland play today?
Italy? Was it Italy?
Italy beat Scotland today.
Yeah, so that must
Italy,
be
Scotland.
pool.
Yeah, so that's a likely first up quarterfinal way, Tonga and Samoa. I believe Tonga. I believe Samoa will beat the other teams.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. Is kind of making sure that they go kind of assume that they're just gonna fly through to the semi now.
Yeah, because if anything, this was a big wake up call.
Yeah, and I think it's good that they kind of got this. Like, if it was tight, they might have gone into the rest of the games a bit lighter. So hopefully, it really kind of knuckles them down for the rest of the rounds.
I don't know what would happen if they did come up first, who they would face. Obviously, they won't face Tonga if Tonga came first. But probably give them a chance to play Tonga in the semi-finals. But it'd be interesting if Tonga actually, if Tonga loses,
When's their game? When's their, not till next week? So when are the games?
I think there's some games this week, tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And I think Wednesday morning, Tonga's playing
Sweet.
Papua New Guinea. Oh, Papua New Guinea's in...
I'll be tired all week.
See, that's the top two in their pool, Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea and Tonga. Italy and Scotland.
Oh, why is this? Yeah, so there's a few games to get through then. I don't have the full schedule of games.
But it's like they start about 6 or 7.
Yeah, because I saw there was another 2:00 game this morning as well.
Oh.
So I don't know if they're always going to be like that or the rest will be like 7.
Yeah.
Like just normal time.
Because they'll be playing all week. So I thought they will be playing like in the weekends. Have back-to-back games or something like that.
I thought it would be like in the weekends. I didn't know it was just rolling throughout the week. That's good though. That coverage was a bit of a shambles. I don't know what happened to their opening. Oh, you missed the opening ceremony, but
you know how in Australia, Simon he said that stopped over there too.
Yeah,
so it's not Sky.
No. So it's not Spark. I guess it's wherever the original feed is coming from. Must be Sky UK or something.
Because everybody was having the problem, eh?
Yeah, it looked like it. So it wasn't just us. So it was good to know that it was Australia as well. Spark must be glad about that. Hey, no, we're our guys over in... So, yeah, who's doing it over there? Was it Fox Sports? Is that what Sai said?
Yeah, probably. Or Stan? Or was it Stan?
Oh, no, Stan, yeah.
Was it Stan?
Yeah, Stan.
Yeah.
It wasn't Stan either.
It's funny because all that build-up for the... even the World Cup, no one knew where to watch it, really. Because Sky never had this and they never advertised anything. So it was like, oh, okay. People probably students on Sky, but it's not.
Well, yeah, and that, like right up until before the Sunday, the first games, people were asking like, so where do you watch it? How do you watch the league? So yeah, it's interesting. Like, yeah, I guess NRL does the promotion. That's why we hear all the NRL stuff. But when it comes to the league, that's not NRL. So I guess we look at our normal channels and go, oh, I've heard nothing about the league. Like even the draw, that's why I'm looking. I get it off the NRL app that I use. So they just happen to have the rugby league, but whoever the body is that sorts that is pretty kaya.
You know, today I was looking for the read on the aftermath of the Samoa team.
Oh yeah,
there was hardly anything yesterday.
Yeah, true. Right.
And then there was bits and pieces today. I looked in the Herald. There's nothing in the Herald. It was all about the Kiwis. But there was bits like they interviewed the coach, Matt Parrish.
Oh yeah.
But you know how it's transcripted in the article.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he's the right guy.
Why was some of the stuff?
Like what he says to me is because he says probably, or I don't know if, because they said, I think he's in the hospital. Talking about Taylor May.
Oh, Taylor May.
Yeah, he goes, I think he's in the hospital.
Oh, wait, what happened to him during the game?
Oh, he got dislocated his hip.
Prior to the game? Or?
No, during the game. He came on.
Oh.
He came on and got injured.
Oh, yes, from that tackle. That was no. Oh, so it was a hip?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Dislocated hip. So, but then he said in the transcript, I think he's in that hospital. You know? I was like, fuck, shouldn't you know exactly where he is? You're the coach. And then they were asking, he was saying, it's a tough game and blah, blah. Yeah, we probably should have blah, blah, blah. And I was like, probably. Man, these words shouldn't be in the coach's vocabulary, man, when you're doing interviews, mate.
Yeah. Well, what happened with that? Remember the Johns brothers were trying to do a bid to get into the coaching? Was that a real thing?
Yeah. But what you call it Samoan League, rugby league, Samoa Rugby League said no.
Was Gulepa involved in that time? Because he had a hand in everything.
Man, I know John's brothers wanted to get in, but they got rejected somehow. Okay. I don't know what the story was there. But they've had Matt Parrish for a long time now, since 2013. I was reading.
Yeah, what? I don't know. I'm not sure what their game plan was going into the game, though. It
didn't look like that game plan.
Yeah, that's the thing. It kind of nothing really played out. Just a lot of mistakes. But that first shift, there was that one where they went to Luai and then he just dropped the ball. But I wasn't sure what the plan was there. I don't know if it's just still trying to gel with the team.
Yeah.
I don't know if he knows just to take control.
Yeah.
There's no Clearys.
Well, that was the criticism of him, eh? There's nothing without Cleary. You saw on social media.
That's a big call. Yeah.
But then, it's like social media was just blowing up with their loss. And how they lost, too. It was like, shucks, man. I saw, what's his name? Steve Mackay. Is that his name? Steve Mackay?
Oh, yeah.
He was saying, all these excuses about Samoa losing. What about the fact that England was just too good?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think it was a bit of an underestimation because I was surprised that they were favourites. They were small favourites, but I think I don't know if our TAB had the most favourites, but they kept saying they were favourites over there, like small favourites.
But see, there's a reason why they were called favourites. Because you got most of the backline is Panthers, right? The chemistry is there, the players are there, and the forwards, right? You got quality players in there, but it's up to the coach to bring that all together.
I was going to say, it comes back to what you said then.
The coach, the coach is the guy that's got all that
talent. You haven't got the game plan to go, okay, this is what I want you guys to play. I know the players. Yeah, I guess that's the thing. If they're not Ivan Cleary, all those Penrith players don't mean nothing.
I wouldn't be surprised if the coach was like, you got all these players. Yeah, you guys go, just throw the ball around.
What are we doing for training? It's captain's run again. I was like, captain's run every training. That number 6 for England though, he's on.
I don't know.
Wakefield, maybe he's a Super League player. Yeah.
But they're the Brisbane Broncos guy.
Fine. The winger. Fine with the centre for Broncos.
Oh, centre.
Yeah, he was good. He played. He was strong for the Broncos. He's better, bloody Katoni. I wish I had that guy in my team than bloody Katoni. Because he was consistent throughout the whole year, so he had a good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were probably the standouts. All the NRL players, I guess that's why they kind of talked them up. Other than that number 6, but yeah, those guys both stood. Even Victor Radley.
Yeah.
I think he got player of the match. But he makes a difference.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't really call him on the plays, but I guess
it was funny when he was embarrassed in his interview. Almost, they sounded embarrassed. Oh, don't know if I earned that. Man of the match.
That was interesting. Speech at the end. Yeah, that was one thing. I you know how they're doing a lot of that diversity stuff from the league. I guess that was a good thing to kind of, it's interesting that you see that halftime speech that the captain from England gave. The players, they understand it. It's kind of like just the spectators that make it a bit of a, Samoa got wasted, see, that's why. Whereas the actual players, the people who are involved, really respectful and kind of understand, like, this is what the game needs, like all these different guys, like, shucks, I didn't know these guys could play so well. Yeah, so that's what stood out to me, just that kind of speech that they gave. Because I was trying to wonder, like, at the beginning of the ceremony, they were doing the most diverse World Cup in history, and I was like,
oh, really?
Well, what do you mean? And so they had three cups come out. They're like, oh, it's great to see all the World Cups on stage. I was like, well, I'm confused.
What World Cups were these?
So it's the Women's World Cup, the Wheelchair World Cup, and then the men's.
Oh, for league?
Yeah, for league. So it's all three. So I was like, oh, I get it. So yeah. But sort of that, the wheelchair one, sort of that looks mean.
Oh, how do you play wheelchair league?
It's like, so it's wheelchair, and so they play it like on the indoor, but they pass it. So they just pass it, but with their wheelchairs. So but what's funny is they got able-bodied players.
Oh, really?
Those ones you see, they put the Velcro. Because those guys are all good, they can walk, but they just want to cut a league.
Oh, but they're in there.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I had one guy doing those, you never get to put on the jersey for your country. So it was a great honor to represent my country. I was like, we're going to have a lot of people starting to do those able-bodied players, yeah.
Is that because they can't find the numbers, maybe? So
I guess it's probably just a competitive, just another way. It's just a hobby, people trying to, maybe numbers just Sabres of table tennis clubs. All those other clubs. You see that one at Becca Gleneden, Pass Park? They got that table tennis club there.
Oh, yeah. Now I haven't noticed.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's that tiny-ass thing. And so there's all the buildings and construction happening around the back of Pass Park. And then that little table tennis club struggling to survive.
The biggest diversity, the diverse league in the world. That's what they're going for, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I didn't get it at first because, like I was saying, that opening ceremony was a shambles. Like,
what's it? What happened? I didn't watch it.
Well, yeah. So when I tuned in, I was like, I thought it was again like a Spark Sport thing, but no, there was the show was, I don't know what was happening. It had like a live band, and then you know how like you do those opening ceremonies like the Olympics, and you have people doing those things, and you make it look like a word or something. So they had kids with red shirts, yellow shirts. And it was like 20 kids in each group. I was like, what is this? And so the band was trying to get the kids going. I was like, yeah. So they were apologizing in the commentary during the game. So
for a mediocre kind of.
Yeah, or just a bad start. They were like, and so they were trying to say, this is what people came to watch anyway. Yeah, so because I tuned in probably, the coverage on Spark only started at like 20 past 2, but that must have started like maybe an hour before. But glad we didn't have to put up with it. Yeah, so it was just I thought it was a Spark thing, but I think it was just the coverage overall was just probably a bad start to the tournament.
Man, I hope so. Someone's got Greece next week, or this weekend, this Sunday, I think Monday.
Coming, nice.
And then France. Because France one day game.
Yeah. So that France is probably the threat, I reckon. I think that's one we need to kind of make sure we don't kind of just...
Because they've always been in the World Cup, eh?
Yeah. And, French teams, they love their league.
Watch that, watch the Kiwis game at work. And the Lebanon team, just NRL players, I don't think because Lebanese are big in Australia. There's heaps of them. I wonder how many of them are from Lebanon. I don't know if Lebanon play league over there in their country. I don't know.
True.
It's like
it must be just the adoption coming to Australia and then falling in love. Same as Samoa. We didn't know league. We just play volleyball, volleyball and kilikiki. So I guess it's the same thing. It's just those big in those countries, but only because they came to New Zealand, Australia.
You got a point about volleyball. We should be up there in volleyball.
Yeah, you'd reckon, eh?
You
Like,
think, eh?
especially beach volleyball. Hey,
We should get some couple of guys,
There-
couple of
there's
girls down
everyone
there.
wants to go put it on the grass there. Like, set up the volleyball. Imagine that if someone just started putting it on the beach. We'd have a mean team. Because you always get like heaps of the boys, you know, like, just growing up, heaps of the boys are good at volley,
Yeah,
but never go on to represent.
Mm.
Does Samoa even have a volleyball team?
they should. They
The
should.
beach volley?
I don't know if they do, but they should have a volleyball team.
yeah.
Even normal volleyball, the
Yeah,
indoor.
even the 60 year. Yeah,
Mm.
you'd think so, but I'm not sure. I've never seen a.
That and cricket too. I know we have cricket. Kirikiki, but we should be good at cricket too.
Yeah. I guess that's the thing. You spend a lot of time playing it.
Mm.
You'd think we'd transfer those skills and kind of bring it into our national sports.
Not just rugby. Well, we did arguing into like weightlifting and there.
Well, that's the thing. So even the national league team, I wonder what some of the local boys think about the World Cup. Because you know how,
True.
like, for a little time we went with, you know, the real, you know, island boys.
Yeah.
Kind of just brought them, you know, kind of like, we're going to go with our, if you guys want to go play for your big contracts, go stay in England, and we're just going to bring some of our local boys.
Mm.
And so it must be hard, like, all these boys trying to, like, get ready for that. And then, these guys make themselves available. I'm not even mentioned now. Like, 'cause there must be some local boys from Samoa who have probably been ripping up and hoping for that chance to put on the jersey, even for, you know, like the last numbers.
Mm.
And then just see these guys make themselves available. Now they're like fifth, fourth choice, you know, kind of thing.
That's a good point because I don't know if there's any rugby league competition in Samoa. It's I know the union's big, but
Yeah,
I wonder what their league scene is like.
Yeah, because you get a lot of boys that come from over there and then they come here and then they rip up because they finally find the game. But, you know, if there's those up and coming kind of, you know, thought this was their chance to break it.
And Fijians too, Fijians.
Yeah,
Fiji,
exactly.
they're good at rugby league.
Well, they've got quite a good system for the rugby, at least, over there in Fiji.
Mm. And I think the NRL just grabbed them from rugby.
Yeah. And I guess that's probably the same as New Zealand. Like, league is still a poor cousin here. So I guess that's why they steal a lot of our rugby union players because, yeah, the game's just not pushed as much.
Oh, sorry. That's what you meant. Yeah, it is. When you look at the Samoan rugby league team, it's all NRL players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or Super League players.
Yeah, and a lot of those. Yeah, well, I don't know where that come from. Local Samoa.
But man, I was disappointed, man. I was disappointed. You know, staying up. I was real tired. Like, I think I just watched a little bit of Victor Radley's speech at the end, and I went to sleep. Woke up at 1 p.m. next day.
Oh, no.
You know, I was like, oh fuck.
Man, yeah, well, because then I was, I think that last 10 minutes of the first half, bro, that's got most of us hyped. Because even then, like, I was like, oh, and then that last bit, then it hit halftime. So I was grabbing a bottle because Sam was drinking. I was going to do this. So I'm going to go see this guy. I'll be at your house to watch the second half.
Did you go?
Nah, lucky I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
I was getting excited thinking, man, yeah, I'm going to be hyped tomorrow. Like, go to work, like, be like.
I think I was more entertained by the chat than the second half, bro.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was just funny seeing who was awake at that time. Like, oh.
It was funny. It was Ibanez who snapshot his TAB.
Oh, it's TAB.
Right at the
yeah.
top was somewhere over.
13 plus, I think he won, eh? Or 1 to 12.
I wonder if he won all the other ones. I should check it. See if that was the only one he got wrong, eh?
That's what multis do to you, mate.
And the first one too. Shit.
But yeah, that was I think it was a good reality check for them, though.
You know, I wouldn't be disappointed if they lost by like maybe 5 points, 6 points. You know, close game and they lost.
Close, yeah,
it would have been better, but to lose by like that, 60 points, fuck.
I think it gives them a lot to.
But this is what happens when you have a warm-up game and you just come together and you maybe fatigue from in around and you just haven't had that sort of...
The loss explains that, but the scoreline doesn't. The
Right.
scoreline is... There's no way you can say everyone's tired, that's why we got blown out like that. That's, Yeah, I
They were
think
down
that's a bit of a really good England team, but also just giving up after 50 or something. Like to hit that much against you is.
I felt like they gave up.
Yeah, especially for the caliber. Like maybe in the past, I could forgive that and go, like, hey, we didn't have, because we've always had good forwards, maybe some decent backs, but we've always struggled in the halves. Like, look, we haven't got playmakers, we haven't got decision makers. Whereas you look at the team now and you go, well, you got no excuse. You've got a six who's been playing the game for many, many years. Like he was one of the worst players for us, and that's when it's like, okay, well, what do? Do we just bring in Chanel, the guy who said he wanted to give up rugby altogether at the end of the year? So it's like, well, but that's kind of where we've always been weakest in those spaces. So it's like, well, that's no excuse now. Like we've got thinkers in our team now. So to fall apart like that and lose by that much is frustrating as a... Yeah, and I think they'll be disappointed in themselves. So hopefully it's a good reality check for themselves. Like, that's not us. Like, that's not reflective of why they gave up whatever jersey they gave up. When these guys go, no, I want to play for my heritage. So you play to your heritage until you're down by 30 and then go, I wish I played for Australia. Bastard. Sorry, Mel. I like Swally. Like, I didn't like that guy when he might have played for New South, and I don't like him as a Rooster, but I was proud of the way he played for Samoa. Like a few mistakes, but he stood up, he tried to keep trying. So yeah, I reckon he'll rip up in the next game.
He was one of the standout guys there in that game.
A lot of pressure too. Like everyone's kind of like, he's meant to be the big hype. He flipped the script, went to Samoa, but yeah, I reckon he'll rip up in the next game. Especially that run he made like that in the second half. That's that little
He just got through the gap, and they couldn't pull him down. And he just got
him
free
and Joey
again.
Manu going for player of the tournament, I think.
But Luai, like, obviously he hasn't got Cleary beside him, but that means he's got to step up his game, eh? Like, he doesn't have that excuse anymore. He doesn't have Cleary there to...
And I think that's
chemistry.
Yeah, I think with that though, like he needs to understand what that means, because I guess that doesn't mean like run every play or try and make it happen. I think just make sure he's feeding the plays, like try and read the game. Like I think that's what. I don't know. I like him as a player, but I hate him as a Panther because it just gets mimika. And like that first play when he lost the ball was almost like he was trying to do too much. Whereas I think he's a good player. Like he knows the right passes to play. I think the less he does with the ball, like the more he just feeds and gives the right passes, Samoa will do well.
So who else they got on the bench? They got Chanel, Mason Lino. Have they got him as well?
I don't know. He'll be good. I like that guy. Because who's playing hooker at the moment?
He's the Super League guy.
Levi.
Yeah, Levi.
Yeah, he was alright. I think it's just who's 14. Who's 14 for us? He comes in front of... Because he was playing good. I think he just started getting tired. But I like him. He just needs to run more.
Who's that?
Levi.
Oh, yeah. Because what the other hookers we got? Just him and...
Well, is Godone not playing anymore? Is he a bit old now? He used to be a good 9.
I guess Charlie Staines going to take over May.
Oh, that's a good replacement.
Yeah, he played good in the game against Cook Islands. That game they played against Cook Islands, they were good, eh? And that was another red herring for us, thinking that they would do well.
Which one?
That first game. The game earlier in the year. Remember?
Oh, yeah, earlier on in the year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they looked real good, didn't they? Yeah.
But they didn't play like that with this game, eh? Against England, eh?
Yeah, I don't know if maybe it was a bit of the hype too, because that's the thing, like... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, like you're saying, the fatigue coming off a grand final.
Going to another country.
It's good they got it out of the way early, but yeah, that's a hard way to get beaten. Like, because one thing to get a reality check, but when you get wasted by that much, it's like, well, what do we learn? What do you learn? Just Gaia. Back to the drawing board, boys.
Well, we because we saw how they played, we're gonna have to see our improvement. It doesn't matter who we got.
Yeah, exactly.
We got Greece next. We should kill them, right? And have less mistakes than we did in our loss. But then that's a telling thing about where the players' mindset is at this next game and how the coach, responded to that loss.
Well, I guess it comes back to again like the coach is saying, because it's not like the NRL, you know, where you can do the video review and go, cool, this game we're gonna play in the middle and we're gonna just hit the fort. You kind of just have to make that team by team, but there's no video, so you can't plan ahead. So you got to have a game plan. I think, like you were saying, like what was the game plan for that England game? Because I wasn't sure if it was like go wide or if it was, you know, hit it up the middle. It was just pass the ball around, see who can make something happen.
Yeah. Unless their plan was to have this game warm-up game, treat it like a warm-up game. And if we lose, we lose. If we can learn from it because we got another chance. And if we come second in this pool, then so be it.
Probably, but
because that's their one life gone.
Yeah. Well, even then, you'd still see a game plan coming through. Even when you lose, you should be like, okay, we can see what they're trying to do, and they kept getting it wrong. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I missed what they were trying to do. Because I guess that's the thing. It's like, what's the plan? Like, yeah, maybe. I guess there was a lot of crash and bash. Like the offload game. Maybe that was it. So maybe it's just a lot of pick and choose what we're offloading to, and just work those middles. So I guess we got a lot of big boys, and it's just hit those middles, break them there, and then send it wide for to'o.
Yeah, I'm predicting that they'll win their next games and make it to the quarterfinals and play Tonga. But I think these next three games they've got, it's their practice for the playoffs.
Yeah. I guess that's the thing. Like playing well, make sure they win, but what's gonna work? Yeah, what's the style that they want to play?
Yeah.
And I guess that's what's cool about a tournament like the World Cup is, you know, you've got time to build into it. Like you've got these rounds. Like you've got to, you know, figure out how your team gels, how they play together. Yeah, I think if they figure out what those combinations are, especially with a lot of those Penrith boys, you know, I guess they should probably be dictating the way they're going to play, and everyone kind of molds to that, because I guess that's the majority. There's a lot of more players that know how to play that same way.
Yeah, I'm excited, but yeah, I'm excited. I think they're gonna do well the next 3 games, and then have a good quarterfinal with Tonga, because it's gonna be a big game, man. Because we've played the last 3 games, we've beat them twice. I think that was what I saw.
Oh, really? Yeah, it should be a good game. Like, I guess there's a good balance. Like, at least we've got a decent Samoa team to challenge them.
On the World Cups, I think the World Cups, the stat was played 3-1-2.
Oh, nice. And the loss was the most recent World Cup?
Oh, no, I don't know.
Possibly.
Because we beat them last time, I think. Can't remember.
In the World Cup, or just like a normal...
Just those Anzac tests.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
But then that was a different team, huh?
When Tonga playing? Tomorrow?
Wednesday morning.
Oh, nice.
It'll be a good game because it's Papua New Guinea.
Oh, actually, yeah, PNG's pretty strong too.
PNG.
Yeah.
The Kumus. Yeah. Because they have the guy, they got a lot of players, NRL players. PNG. They got a few,
Yeah, it's good. I guess that's the thing. It's like what you're into. Like, I'm surprised there's not more hype about it, though. Like, maybe it's just because we love it. But I'm like, why is no one else excited about this tournament that's happening?
Well, that's what I mean. You look in the Herald, there's only little bits on the Kiwis and Rugby League. If you look on the Rugby League section in the Herald, you know, it's not really a lot of stories there. It's just the Warriors or Kiwis. If you look at the rugby union section of the Herald, there's
because the women's rugby cup's still going in.
Yeah. And that's looking like a New Zealand England final way because we're underdogs. The New Zealand women.
Oh really?
It's England and France. Although England beat France yesterday, I think.
Oh really?
Or 2 nights ago.
France team looked good.
Yeah.
I caught the games last week. I missed the games this week. But yeah, the opening week that France had a good team. Team.
Yeah, man. Because I think because England's the champions, eh?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Yeah.
Then the All Blacks got their tour coming up. Did you see that second team, the first 15 All Blacks team?
Oh,
the B team.
Yeah, I saw the naming of that.
It was a big.
So what's that team for anyway? There's only like 2 games, Ireland and that they're playing against.
Oh yeah, I don't know, but McDonald's the coach, eh?
Yeah.
Well, they only got 2 games. Is McKenzie in that?
Yeah. So he's back for this. Yeah, I've only seen a couple like just those social media posts, and I saw McKenzie's back. This is kind of international comeback.
Yeah, him and the other talk I saw was not naming Sawakula. And he might have deserved to be in that team, at least the B team.
Yeah. So what? He's just fallen out of all the teams.
Probably. I don't know.
Sad.
I know.
Off the back of what?
What they dropped ball he did or something. But that was
that's the thing is that's the only thing I can remember.
Yeah.
Like what from just a random one play, you don't get another call up.
Yeah, exactly. Or was it just to secure services for the next 3 years, like Perifetza?
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I guess that's still a ongoing argument how that works, but off the back of that, you kind of wonder why Mel made a big scene about all this. Well, all of them, Kent and 360 and all that, they made a big deal about the Samoan players, but you heard nothing about the Lebanon players, all these other countries. So it's like, well, what's going on? Like, there's, when Tamalolo made the switch, it was like a big deal, and then now all these Samoan players doing exactly the same. But you never heard a whisper about Mitchell Moses going to Lebanon and all this. I was like, oh, well, it's just our island countries has a problem. Like, what's going on? Yeah.
No, you're right, man. Because even Tonga didn't get much. They're the ones who started it all.
Yeah. And now they're kind of over that. Like, well, we know they're going to represent Tonga. I think they just get angry when they get blindsided. But it's like,
but isn't it just the fact?
There was always a possibility. You have a.
Isn't it just the fact that a lot of them could have been chosen for Kangaroos. And
yeah. And I guess that's the thing. It's almost like make yourself available for us. If you don't get us, then you can play for anyone else. So cool. But how about if exactly. And so when these guys go, oh, that's cool. But how about if I just choose these guys? And you tell me if you want me later. But, so it's like, I guess because they're so caught up in their NRL contracts, it's like, we made a contract. It's like, oh, well, I want to play for these. Like, there's no contract when you play for New South or Origin. And so these guys, like, I guess just getting angry, but it's like, pick and choose who you're getting angry at. Because it's like, well, Teddy almost flipped, and then he's like, oh, no, I'm going to play for Australia. Imagine if Tedesco, like even when Tedesco did go and Robbie that other year, no one cried when those two were playing for Lebanon. So it's like, just pick and choose when you get angry.
Because like even if what's his name? When they were talking about how Suali, eh?
Oh yeah.
Like their excuse, Paul Kent's excuse, because he wanted to play fullback. That was the worst.
Yeah. All right, that's just like, yes, even if that was part of it, like, yeah, fair enough. At the end of the day, he's Samoan, so that's like a second thing for him to make that the first point. Like, oh, it's because he wanted to play fullback. Yeah. And that's the thing. They probably had a cry to Teddy, like, you need to play fullback because if this guy goes and then you play somewhere else, we don't have a fullback.
Yeah.
Maybe Pappenhausen, I don't know, but that guy's been too many head knocks. I don't know what's happening with that guy.
Injury cloud. But, you know, with Australia, like, even so, if they had all these players in there in to choose from, like, you can't choose all of them.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, we want to make sure if that guy gets injured, we can still bring in another first starter. Like, bro, you want to just have all the best.
That's like greedy.
I know. Oh, like our replacement team is another first team, and the team, if they get injured, is another first team. It's like, oh, you and your third team to be like still beat every other country. It's just greedy. Yeah, just like, the biggest nation, so we should have the most players available.
But then they break their own rule because Adokar's in the team. Now, he didn't even play State Origin. So how does that work out? Because I thought if you play State Origin, then that's sort of like your trial to play for Kangaroos that year.
Maybe it's just if you're ever been available for State of Origin. I don't know.
Because they saw Daniel Tupou taking off to Tonga. So, okay, Josh, come play for us now. We want you now.
I think that's just desserts because he should have played Origin. They were stupid for not putting him in. I'm glad they didn't put him in.
Yeah, I know you're glad for not playing, but man, they did because Tupou didn't do jack shit, man. Because Queensland didn't even do enough high balls for him to be in the team, you know.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I guess, yeah.
I
don't know why I keep compensating for why your team does silly things.
It's cool about State Origin because we had this discussion on the podcast all the time. Like, where does this passion for us about State Origin come from?
Yeah.
Because if you compare this kind of passion we have for State Origin when that time rolls around, compared to our passions for any other New Zealand sport, whether it be Blues or Auckland rugby or local club rugby, it's not comes even close.
No.
And State Origin is far from us.
Yeah,
we're not even nowhere connected to Queensland or New South Wales, but we choose to go all out when that time comes around. When State Origin comes around. You know?
Well, yeah, Roger, when he was playing over in France, the expat Aussies just thought he was crazy. Like, mate, you're a Kiwi. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why are you getting hyped up? So, we're doing hype, because that's when we're still here getting hyped. Yeah. And he's over there, like, seeing our messages and he's getting hyped. They're like, bro, you're not even a bloody Aussie. Like, why are you so crazy about this thing? Yeah, I can't explain it. Like, yeah, a lot of Kiwis just love it. Like, I don't know why.
I think it's it's that sporting culture that they've tapped into our like fucking tribalism to that thing.
Yeah, just that mentality.
Yeah, and make us have that mentality. So think about it. We supported these teams for ever since, right? And it's ever since.
Why? That's the thing. I can't actually say why. If anyone asks me like, why are you a Queenslander? I'll probably tell them like my random memory from when I was little, coming home from but that's like cool story. But why has that made you fucking like an idiot when it comes that time of year? I have no idea.
Well, I think it's the identity of it, right? Because our allegiance is to identity of what Queensland is during the State of Origin.
Yeah.
Specifically, not anything else.
Yeah.
Like, we're not supporting Queensland Reds.
Yeah, true that. Yeah, exactly. It's not like the territory, like I'm a Queensland because I came from there,
Yeah, it's the actual identity of the rugby league team that's in the representative game of State of Origin. Because that's like the pinnacle of rugby league, right?
Yeah.
It's like every year there's 3 games, which is high quality, top-notch, top-line rugby league game you can never see anywhere else. Repeated. 3 games. You can call the NRL Grand Final same thing, but that's 2 club teams of the highest. But
well, yeah, it's not the same hype. It's not the
yeah, that's right. But I think with State of Origin, it's only 2 teams, so we align to these 2 teams. It's not like we have to choose between the whole NRL clubs.
But is that some marketing magic that every other business in the world want? Because how do you attract Kiwis, all people who kind of go, yep, that's my state. Because the game is essentially your state of origin. Like, this is me representing Queensland, this is me representing New South Wales, yet somehow it's traversed across the Tasman to us to make us so go, I'm a Queenslander. I never lived there in my life. I've never been born there, and the same for you, New South. Like, look at Roger, he's crazy, New South. But it's like, why? So it's like it's marketing magic. Like, whatever they've done, this is what I guess all these other teams, because it's nothing about the commentary. People go, oh, it's the way they talk about the game. In the game, it's like, oh, the height of it. And it's like that first hit. Like, I guess it's just subconsciously we're like, bring it on for that first hit. And yeah, I don't know. It's just that excitement of coming together for those games. Yeah, that's marketing magic. Because
but it has to be the quality of the game too, right? Because if this is the pinnacle of rugby league, right, you have to choose a team.
But then there's been games where I don't know if they've tried to manufacture it. Like, I've still enjoyed the game, but even through the commentary and even the lead-ups, people feel like, oh, it's you're kind of building it up and you guys talk it up and it's not really that fun. But as a spectator, like, every game, I'm like, man, yeah, Hundy's like, whatever you're saying, I don't see that. Maybe that's people that are trying to say something because they don't understand it. But yeah, through the years, I guess every year, that state of origin is a feature. Like, I don't know how that is a thing.
The way they market it today. If you look at how they market it, it's drama, right? It's
But I guess the way we react to that, like, because I don't understand football fans, that craziness level.
That's crazy.
And so, yeah, that kind of culture, like, how do you breed that? Because I guess we look at it like, oh, how do you breed that origin stuff to get that in Kiwi rugby or, New Zealand? But then you look at football fans, that's another level. No wonder they earn so much playing that game, because it's like, well, yeah, you got fans that are having street fights before they they're going to the game and
the hoodlums, the football hooligans,
like, the hooligans, that's just next level. So we think, we're crazy about origin, but we're not busting people's heads on the way to origin, like, oh, go watch them at the bar and fussy these guys before we get to the bar.
But that's like being a proud Samoan. Like, you go to a isolated place and you see another brown person, Samoan, and automatically, because there's that identity that brings you together, right? So I think the same identity is in sports. If you identify with the same team, but I think state origin is another level because it is the pinnacle of rugby league. It's quality game, and the way they market New South versus Queensland, we got no choice but to choose a team. If you're a fan of rugby league,
there's no fence.
There's no fence. There's no other team to choose from. Only two teams. Which side are you? How are you gonna choose your team? If you have no affiliation with these two teams, is it the most people you support on the team? Or is it your family? Is it your family lives in Queensland? Family lives in.
Well,
how you gonna do it?
I guess a lot of it comes down to if it's family or someone played in that team or I've got family living there because you find a way to connect to that. Because it's like you're saying, only two teams, and if you love the sport and you love these players that you watch, 26 weeks of the year, it's like, oh, I want to see where he's playing. Oh, he's playing in that team. And so probably as a little kid, that's that little subconscious, like, oh yeah, that's my team because I like that guy.
But when you touched on how crazy NFL is or American football, did you see the game yesterday, or there was a college game between University of Tennessee and Alabama? Now, Alabama is always the top team. They're like the top team in college football. Yeah,
college.
They're like the top team all the time. All the best players come from that school.
Right.
So they always win. But they lost to underdog last night. It was Tennessee, University of Tennessee, and it was just packed because it colors orange.
So what's packed at college football like?
It's just packed full of fans.
But like as big as Eden Park, like that? Because I heard colleges like big.
Nah, it's packed. It's big. It's massive. It's like 50,000.
Oh shit!
Just packed full of supporters of that university.
Yeah.
So what happened? Because they beat Alabama, the security couldn't do anything. I think the whole stadium just rushed the whole field.
Oh, true. Because of that Because they had done something that's
and took down the post. They
the actual post.
They took down the post and just took it out of the stadium. They took it out of the stadium and took it on the street and dumped it in the river.
Hey, sure.
You should watch it on YouTube. It's wicked. But you just see because it was a tie. It was like 5 seconds to go.
Oh, like a final play too.
Yeah. 5 seconds to go, and Tennessee had to kick for goal. It was 49-all.
Yeah.
And kicked the goal went through the post. And then
time whenever just went crazy.
All the crowd just came, filled up the whole stadium, and the security had to take all the players off. And they just all jumped on the post and took it down.
I can imagine, like I just listening to the story, I can imagine the energy. You know, like kind of like an origin moment. Like it's the same thing. Like if you've been like struggling like for like, oh man, these guys like just dominating, like we're the worst team. To do that, yeah, that's next level. They like that's a. So how long have they been standing like unbeaten?
I don't know, but I know Alabama's one of the top schools.
Man, that's crazy though. Like I guess that's just that passion. Because if it's not a long time or something you've been waiting to do, then it's just crazy.
But I think when you talk about American sports, that's what they're really good at. They're really good at cultivating that sort of energy, that sort of culture, sports culture.
Yeah.
Because I think it all starts with schools and colleges. You know how they have those alumni?
Ah, yeah.
You know, no matter how old you are, you always loyal to that school where you came from.
I've seen that I think I was watching some trash TV, but it's like her partner that she's like, oh yeah, this guy's from this university. I think it was like a Married at First Sight.
Yeah.
And then the dad was like from that university and like, oh, they got along really well because it's like they're, alumni and they're doing their handshakes and stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess
it's a thing in America. Like you always have to, because they have a mascot too. They always have mascots, so it's all part of
that's right.
building a
really
relationship.
Build that.
Yeah, and if you leave the school, you always have that relationship.
And
to
you're
your
just
school.
tired of that. Like,
Yeah.
That's us. Like that's my symbol.
Yeah. Just like you guys in Liston.
Yeah. I was gonna say
Like,
it's that same kind of.
It's the same kind of thing. Like I know for me, I didn't have that back. Yeah, I didn't have that kind of. We didn't have that thing back at.
Yeah, and I didn't. Yeah, maybe it's
White Tech.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have any proud thing for being the front of school.
But yeah, I guess it's like you're saying, maybe it's that tribalism, because the LST stuff was off the back of the gangsters, not just the boys trying to just be them. Yeah.
I think that's all that's related. That how that happens, how LST happens, is the same as sports.
Yeah.
Because you're part of something.
It's just building that.
You build a brand out of it.
You belong kind of thing to this. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what Americans are really good at. And I think that's why their sports are rich. Because I think what happens is that people spend money. Because what you're actually doing is making people loyal to something.
Yeah.
They'll invest their whole lives, their finances to
clothing,
that. Yeah,
hats,
exactly.
All those kind of things. Like, you think how many Queensland jerseys are bought.
Yeah.
But it's building that, because you know how they do their Monday night football, everyone comes to the house and they, potluck dinners. Because I look at that, that's kind of, we're building that same culture, like Origin. Like I saw, when Artie's boy came, and like now he's gonna be New South Wales, like just coming and seeing that kind of, and then just like this is the, like, and seeing that like really like, challenging each other, going hard out. But then it's fun, so it's like, I want to do this. Like, this is, and I guess that's what we're trying to...
Yeah, and that's
the same kind of thing, building. Like, I don't know how that... Because it's not conscious. It's not like we go, let's build the next generation.
Nah.
Because I was just like, hey, no kids. It's Origin, man, the kids. What the hell? I had to censor myself all night, mate.
Because you look at what we built, what Isaiah built at his house. Every day Origin comes around.
I try and tell people, like, I feel like an idiot when I'm like, what you do? And it's like, calm down, man. What are you on about? Like, he's just rugby tournament on a Wednesday night. How do you not know, man?
I mean, Yeah, we've built it into a traditional thing, right? It's tradition, right?
Yeah.
To go game 2 over there, and all the boys go and watch the games and that. But every year it's like that. But we've built that up. You're right. We didn't plan to do it, but it just happened.
Yeah. It's not like everyone said, like, yeah, man, this is gonna where we always talk. Yeah, no, I think it's out of it just how. But I guess it's that same American, like, however they've. But that's the thing. Like, was that the plan? Like, these marketing people thought, oh yeah, people will gather around their homes and they'll come and watch this game. And
I think it got to a point where it just happened naturally, and then they decided to even throw a catalyst to
Make
it and
it like,
make
oh,
it
yeah.
into, because college sports is a $1 billion industry, and the players don't get jack shit. The schools get all the money, right?
Oh, okay,
and
yeah,
the NCAA gets all the money, and it's televised. All these games are televised.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they televise the first 15 games here
they're doing that now
on Sky
First
Sport.
15, yeah.
And I read an article in the Herald about how they were talking about how that is a detriment to school rugby, because then now you got all these schools that are on TV with the first 15s in the first division in the 1A comp.
Yeah.
Now that's their chance to advertise their school. Now they'll put all their power into making their first 15 the best first 15, so they can get the
More coverage.
more
and
coverage
be known, yeah.
and be known. So now they'll be like buying players from getting
Oh wow.
you know
To make it look better, so like
so the school can get that.
yeah, everyone's gonna watch us every week now.
Yeah,
because like, oh
So if your school's winning, then you're gonna be winning in the Sky TV coverage.
yeah.
And then who loses out? The smaller schools. The 1B
Yeah,
schools lose out. And all that. So that was.
But I guess that's kind of those arguments are for bigger like I don't know if that's relevant to New Zealand. You think New Zealand's so small, like people still just go to wherever their local school is. Like it's few and far between that you see a mass migration of like, oh yeah, we want to play for that best school, so we're all going to go play over there. Yeah. I think New Zealanders are still very different, like in terms of that concept of, being players for hire. Yeah. So I think New Zealanders are still very down to earth. Like if your son's amazing, you'll put him into your local club and school to be like, yeah, I want to see my son come out of this local area. Yeah. So I think that's one thing. Like maybe there's a few that kind of put their kids through the system and or put them through special schools. But some, New Zealanders are still local, and he plays for Canterbury. I want him to be a Canterbury boy and, come through that system at Canterbury. Yeah.
But then who's going through the Canterbury system from Canterbury these days?
Yeah, exactly. But I guess that's the thing. There's so many good systems, because I saw Roger's boy, like he went through a hurricane system. Like come for a tournament, but it's all sponsored by Hurricanes. I'm like,
true.
Why these guys just bring all these Aucklanders down, like come play this tournament, because the kids just want to play. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll go play. It's like, well, now you got all these Aucklanders like, oh, that's awesome. I want to play down here. It's mean.
Yeah. It's funny because for All Blacks perspective, if they would want, because Auckland is the biggest catchment of regular players in the whole country, they would want players to move around.
Yeah.
From the All Blacks point of view, because they don't want.
Well, yeah. For the All Blacks, yeah.
You want to give all the good players chances to have game time. So if Auckland's got too many players, then they want them to spread out. And play for
try
other.
and play for those those local clubs.
But with the with all that tribalism stuff we've been talking about, I think what New Zealand misses out on not having that kind of culture or cultivate that kind of culture is the money, because I think sports in New Zealand rely on government funding all the time and that kind of stuff. The amount of money we spend on our teams overseas, we should be spending the money on teams locally. Like if my local team is Waitemata, then why can't I go support? Because it's my local team, but we don't have that. There's no opportunity to do that, so we're not affiliated with Waitemata Rugby unless I have a son there or nephew there.
Like,
even if my friend plays there, but we're not really.
Yeah. What, like, so the caliber of players that's locally isn't enough to draw the viewership, you reckon?
unless there's some type of
relationship to who's playing.
Yeah,
That's so true.
but
though.
you can
like,
build it.
yeah.
You can build it. You can, because like
build it around the community.
Yeah.
Like if these, well, you look at what the Panthers did. You know, they built it around their church, those Mount Druitt boys, and then that's like, oh, yep, these are our local boys. We're going to bring them through. Yeah, so I think you can, but it's not an easy thing to do, but it can be done.
now because we don't have the sort of infrastructure to build anything like that. We don't have like incentive to go support the team. Like if take NFL, right? They have those tailgaters at the beginning of their games.
Like Eden Park used to have.
Do we used to have tailgate
Like you open and you just have the champagne and stuff from the boot.
out in the car park?
Yeah.
Just have a barbecue. And, yeah.
They used to have that at Eden
Do we?
Park. Yeah. Well,
See,
used to.
See, we used to. See,
Yeah.
why don't we carry on with that?
I don't. Well, when I first saw it, I thought it was like because it was only Palangis they were doing it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they were just doing their own, like it wasn't an actual thing. But yeah, I remember like heaps of Palangis were doing it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's out of it. Yeah. So when I saw it, like it was a thing, I was like, oh, that's what they were doing. But yeah. Well, I guess you can't even. I don't even know if you can park there anymore.
No, probably not. But see, the South Africans do it too over there.
Yeah.
They have their barbecues in the car park.
Yeah. Like even the local houses, some of them at Eden Park used to do that kind of stuff. But
Yeah, it's whatever we, it's like whatever Stab Origin does to make us spend money on them. Like why can't we spend money on our own local teams? But we don't because we don't have that sort of
the connection.
Connection.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I like the black on this can, eh? The black rim.
Yeah, I think he took it off the top of a flame.
Oh, is it? So are these flames like that?
Yeah, I think flame cans are the same, black cans.
Flame was my drink when I first started drinking.
Flames are good. 5.2%, they were always... I think the first time I fell in love with flames was this one time I did it all night at Gino's house.
Yeah.
And in the morning, they were like, oh, still going. So I was like, oh, is there anything left? Like, oh, just those. But it was warm. And I was like, oh, hell. So I had a warm flame. And I don't know if I was wasted, but I was like, that's not bad. And that was like the first beer I could drink at like 5 stars, like just room temperature. So I was like, oh, these are all good. That was...
But Flames out now. They survived, man. They survived because they were out when Lion Ice was out.
Yeah, back in true way. Lion Ice,
KGB, and KGB was doing his rounds.
Yeah.
Flames one of the survivors, man.
Flames survived because I remember my dad was a Rhineck guy, and then he stole on Flames. Yeah, and it's not a harsh beer, not like a Lion Red. It's
I thought it was pretty harsh. It was pretty sharp. It was pretty sharp and crispy, like a crispy sort of lager.
yeah, I don't know. It's just a get you there beer.
Yeah, but that was my beer of choice because at the time I was a student, and it was the cheapest.
Oh, was it out of all the
the cheapest stuff you get those days, and then Stripe came out.
Stripes? Oh,
Because that was 20 for 20 at the liquor store.
20 for 20.
Yeah, 20 for 20.
$1 beer. Wow, that's good, man.
So that was the go-to.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad used to always have beers in the fridge, and I used to always want fizzy drinks, and I used to always think, hey, your beers are like more than $1 a can. My cans are only $1. Why can't I have like a dozen soft drinks?
Yeah.
Used to always try and do the maths in my head, like, hey, man.
Yeah, those 6-packs were no way Coke or Sprite. Because I thought like every time we go to Pack and Save when I was a kid with my mum, and like we'll go and I always want the cans, but she would just get the bottle.
Yeah, the bottle.
Because there's more. But I just like the.
I just want my own can.
Yeah, I just want my own can. But I thought you had to be rich to get the can because we never got it. Because I wanted to be like on the movies how they every time
they
someone
always get a can.
every time a visitor comes in.
Yeah. You want something to drink? Oh, you got any? Oh, I got Coke. I have a Coke, and it.
I've never seen a movie where someone asks for something and they don't have it.
Just
just
Friday.
Just Friday. I was buzzing. Oh, Friday. I was buzzing out. Like, kind of whiskey. Oh, yeah, whiskey comes out.
Chewy.
Oh, scotch. And scotch comes out. Fuck. Do you get into your microbrewery stuff?
Craft beers? Nah.
Craft beers?
Oh, so I started drinking Pilsners. Just because, so my boss gets into these craft beers.
Yeah.
Him and one of the other guys, they like these craft beers, but I don't understand it. Like even this, it's an IPA. IPA stands for Indian Pale Ale. So we got an Indian Pale Ale made by Flying Batsman. Why didn't they just make a Samoan Pale Ale?
No, because IPA Indian Pale Ale has a specific taste. Because when England was in India, back in the days, they colonized India.
Yeah.
They had to send their beer over. But it tasted different because by the time it reached the ship, when it put on the ships, sailed to India, by the time it reached India, something happened to the beer. Like, I think the
Like
time
the
it took.
journey, the time.
Yeah, the time. It gave the beer a different taste. So the same beer didn't taste
So
the
that's what
same.
they try and mimic with these IPAs is the...
No, because of a different taste. So So the same beer in England tasted different than when you travel time to India.
Oh, okay.
And when they drank the beer in India, this ain't the beer we ordered. But it's the travel time made it taste different.
Oh, okay.
So
And
that's why they call
when
it-
they brew these, they kind
Yeah.
of make it to be like a longer
Yeah.
whatever process to
Yeah.
make it taste the same.
Yeah. So that's why it's called Indian Pale Ale.
Okay. So you couldn't just say salmon because you brewed it. It's just
Unless we find a way to brew it in Samoa and travel it somewhere.
because it's the same story then. So these are Indian Pale Ale because of the time that it took from Europe to India, but then you got APAs, American Pale Ale.
Yeah.
Same story, like
Yeah.
because of the length of time.
So we can say Samoa.
So we can say from Europe to Samoa, it's a lot longer. You just brew it for longer. Now you got an SPA.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's Flying Bat should do. Flying Bat should brew it here, take it to Samoa.
That's the secret they're gonna come in. Like, Solly, you let out our secret. Why you guys talking about stuff you don't know about?
Well, I like the bat thing though. Eh?
Yeah, it was cool because I remember seeing it before you guys were talking about it, and I saw the emblem when you brought it up. I was like, oh, I saw that. It was like another craft beer thing.
But it's good Samoans are doing it, eh? Because
Yeah.
you think it's off limits, eh? These kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's true, especially like, but we've had Vailima and that, like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I guess that's the thing is like the culture kind of promoting alcohol.
Yeah, but the thing with Valima wasn't made by us, Samoans. No, it was a German beer, firstly.
Yeah.
And then it got taken by the Fijians.
Oh,
And now it's owned by Coca-Cola now. So it was never a beer brewed by Samoans from the beginning.
oh wow.
So Hatola is the first Samoan,
Oh, Setola is
real Samoan
okay.
beer. Yeah.
Oh, true. See, I didn't know that.
And Flying Bat. Flying Bat's made by Samoans.
Yeah, flying back now. Yeah. They're So what's up with this? How come it's like this and not printed like these?
Oh, true. That's a label. Huh?
Yeah. Just a home thing, I guess. That's
Maybe that was the next package up.
cool though. It makes you. I guess it shows the effort because that just goes back to manufacturing. It's all still hard work.
Mm.
Someone's got to do that.
I don't know. Have you tried a homebrew before? Because ever since
Yeah.
I've known you, you've been the guy that always hands-on, dude, always finding out how to do things.
So I've tried homebrew. yeah. So I had a homebrew. So
You did?
homebrews are always like usually harsh, like unless you kind of. So that's the thing. Like the science behind making alcohol was all about timing that and like the yeast. But yeah, I bought one of those homebrew kits for my dad.
Yeah.
But then like I bought him the the ingredients. So I brought the kit. You can buy those kits. I bought it for Christmas, and then like I think it was like Father's Day the next year. I bought like the thing, and it wasn't until Christmas we brewed it. But it was all hard by then. The sugar, it was terrible. It was like a case, like 24 bottles of home brew of just terrible. I didn't even know if you could get drunk off it. So yeah, hats off to these guys. Like doing a microbrewery.
Because I think what happens with these guys, they probably went to where you were at when you stopped.
Yeah.
But these guys carried on.
Yeah,
They keep trying.
Because that's what it is. Yeah, science is just experiments. You just try different ways.
So you find the recipe.
Yeah. So that's what I don't get about microbrewing, because you get those kits, and it's you get the sugars and then the barley and all that kind of stuff, and you kind of chuck it in the barrel and let it ferment. So I don't know what makes you
different,
like how you do an IP, because you buy those, like you can buy those kits and it comes with the powder already mixed. So I don't know if these guys go to the next step and break it down, like this many hops, this many. Yeah.
It sounds like growing rice too. Have you seen how they grow rice? Those rice fields in China?
Just in the water.
Yeah. It's like hard out like that. Like there's a science behind that, like brewing beer.
Oh, really?
The right amount of water your plant has to be underneath.
Planting?
Yeah, and right amount of soil underneath and blah blah blah. It's real complicated, isn't it? Like
so what? You can grow rice anywhere it's wet, or?
I think the Chinese got it down to the T. Like they know exactly what to do with all the land they have and how they have those rice fields and all that.
Because you think our mangroves, we got mangroves everywhere on the motorways and stuff. Like that looks like rice kind of growing material. Like, why are we growing rice in our mangroves?
It's interesting because I was reading this book from Malcolm. What's his name?
X.
Malcolm Gladwell. And Isaiah, he loves Malcolm Gladwell. He got me onto
the history guy.
Yeah. The history guy. And Isaiah, he got me onto him. So I've been reading his books, right? So I read this book called Outliers. Fucking interesting, eh? So there's a chapter on the Chinese rice fields, how it relates to why Chinese are good at maths.
Hey.
Yeah. Because apparently, when I read the book, it's about because you gotta be a fucking mathematician to be a farmer or a rice farmer, because it's fucking
like really like down to the second when you put it down, when you bring it up.
Stuff. It's hard. It's harder than, in the book it says, it's harder than farming corn and any other farming thing in the world. The hardest one is rice. That's the hardest, and the Chinese got it down to a T. And because of that, they got at maths.
Yeah. So they just teach generations this math.
Well, that
thing that they don't realize is math, but it just.
Well, they look at numbers differently, because you know how we have because the numbers we know is a Western way of numbers.
Just one.
But with Chinese, they look at it differently. They don't have it like that.
Okay.
So theirs is all about language. So you know how we have 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Then 11, 10, and then 21, 31, 41. We're putting the first number first, and then the second number second.
Yeah.
Like 21 means 2, 1.
Yeah.
But when you come to 11, we're not saying teen 1, teen 2. We're saying 11.
Yeah.
So it's confusing.
And so what do the Chinese do?
They say 10 1, 10 2, 10 3.
And then 21.
Then 21, 22, 23.
So it's just those first 10 that make a difference? The first...
No, they say 210. 210, 210 1.
Ah, okay. So you just...
210 1, 310 1, 410 1.
Ah, okay.
And what
they
it does...
break up the 2, then the 10.
Yeah,
and
that's how they say it. So they don't say 20, because there's too many syllables. There's one too many syllables when you say it, or something like that. 20, 24.
Oh, so just the translation is too hard. Easier to just say 2, 10, 1.
Yeah, and so that reason you're cutting down the language, so it makes it easier for you to work it out.
Oh, it would be.
So, see, I read it once. So I couldn't really understand it. I had to read it again and again. But
it makes sense.
It seems like it seems like the language.
Like the building
language
blocks. Like if you want to add to it, you just got these simple concepts, and you just add to it. Whereas English just makes a new word. It's like,
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
we know to figure
yeah.
out that new word
Exactly.
and try and calculate something with that new word. Whereas
Exactly.
it's just 2, 10, 1. Now I just use that
Yeah.
as the base.
Yeah, exactly. Because he explains it like it's when you say the number, it's in your face already.
Yeah, because it's something that you know. Whereas now 20 is like a, well, what's 20? Like you haven't defined like a coding kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like define 20 first so that I can use it. Whereas I know what 2 is, I know what 10 is, and I know what 1 is. So you don't need to tell me again. I get it.
See, you gotta just like that because you're into all that IT shit.
But it's clever. Like that wasn't even IT stuff before the Asians thought. Before they figured it out, they just said, "Oh, let's keep it simple." And then we just thought, "I'd be clever to just make a new word."
Yeah, exactly. So the reason for that chapter is to understand why Asians are good at maths.
Good maths, yeah.
And
Because the language is just simple.
because it's a language.
Yeah.
They made it. They made numbering so simple, simpler than how the Western world sees numbers.
It's funny, because I guess the things we think are simple in the English language make it so difficult for us to understand ancient languages because we've kind of gone, this word that means, 5 things in the Greek language, we're going to call it love. And that's when it's like, something love this, and I love that, and I love you, and I love flowers.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you just said 5 things, but you said the same word, whereas Greek is like 5 different words. And so that's where we kind of like thought it's making simple, but we have to unravel that thing that we've simplified, whereas coding is kind of the same thing. Like, just keep it simple. It doesn't make sense, but at least you understand it. Like,
just like Samoan language when you get in trouble when you're a kid.
Yeah. Because it's just like we try and take shortcuts. It's like, no, just say the whole thing. Wow, that's cool. Yeah.
So this is a cool book, man, because it's all about how results out of it when you look at how they've come about.
Yep.
Like the reason the whole chapter was trying to find out the reason why Asians are good at maths.
So there's an actual reason, like,
Yeah.
That's really cool, though. There's actual scientific reason to it, because you kind of think, oh, no, they work harder, they just study. So does that translate to today, though? Like, these kids brought up in a New Zealand system, I guess, like, a lot of, I'm stereotyping.
Well, they transition, right?
When I grew up, a lot of Chinese kids were still very Chinese. Like, they were our friends at school, in high school, and they spoke enough to be our friends, but we knew that their main language was still Chinese. So I don't know if that's kids today, like if their main language is still Chinese. Because if it's not, then that kind of theory goes out the window. Because like,
you're talking about second generation, third generation Chinese.
Exactly, yeah. So the ones we grew up with, they were still FOBs, but they spoke enough to be our friends.
Yeah.
But the next generation, you see them now, like they speak really good English. So it's like, well, I don't know if that's their first language anymore, or So it'd be interesting if they're still that clever in English. I mean, in maths. Or if the Western learning has just, because I guess that's why they kind of keep them close and, kind of encourage that stuff. Must be they understand the difference in the language.
It's interesting you brought up how, interesting. It was interesting to me that you understood what I was talking about. Because I was trying to explain one of my stories to someone else. They were, what the fuck are you talking about? Who cares? Like, But I think because you're in the industry IT and you know a bit of like what got involved with programs and coding and that you understood what I was talking about, because and you straight away understood how easy it was when I painted the picture for you.
Different way,
and you thought, fuck yeah, that's fucking just like how. But with your learnings and computers and that, like you automatically knew.
And I think it was the way, like, probably like just simplifying like how coding works for my kids. I remember like telling them like a robot, like, we know what's left, what's right, but a robot, like, you're telling it, so kind of like walk forward 2 steps, walk this way 2 steps, and so kind of breaking that down is like, oh, that's dumb, but it's like, but that's how you have to tell and so it's dumb to a human, because I guess we simplify things as for, even like what we see on a screen has been simplified for humans, but it's still the same code in the background, and that's a lot easier for the computer to understand. So kind of going, if we did the same thing if we could understand, because I always think, man, numbers are only like 0 to 9. Like, why can't we remember numbers? We kind of try and remember passwords, But then we struggle to remember like our account numbers and our credit card numbers. But it's only like we try and remember like 26 digits in an alphabet. But then we forget like just our, numbers on the card. Whereas like if you just did everything in numbers, probably be easier.
Well, that came up too. Because the Chinese, in the book, because Chinese language, when you say the numbers in Chinese, they're really short bursts of syllables.
Yeah.
So you can remember easily.
Yeah.
Like, when we remember the alphabet.
Like a song, and it's like all of those. It's like, man, so
but every letter is just one syllable.
Yeah.
But if you remember numbers, you're
it's the same thing, but it's shorter.
But you're remembering multiple syllables for one number. So it's all about the timing of. See, if you were to say, if you were to count to 21 to 30, right? So that's 10 numbers, right? And you count 10 letters.
Yeah.
You'll finish the letters faster than you'll finish the numbers.
Those numbers, yeah.
Yeah, because the time it might be 0.5 of a second longer because you got more syllables.
That's so true, because, you tell someone to count to 100, and it's so hard, but 1 to 10 is fast.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get into 22, to 23, to 30s, it's so much longer.
Yeah, it's longer. I think what the book was saying was that Chinese language actually takes that away.
Yeah, because you're just doing the 210, 220,
Yeah, exactly.
22, 23, 24. Yeah. Well.
So that might be a better way for us to remember numbers as well. Because he was saying the Chinese probably think we make things too complicated.
Yeah. I think every language, like
they look at us funny,
yeah.
like, hey, why you guys?
That's why English is the hardest language to learn, because I guess English is a good language to do everyday stuff with, but it's such a, I guess it's like if you're talking computers, English is quite a high language, so English is something that everyone likes because it's easier to read and it's easier to understand. But in terms of coding, it's like the hardest language to get to. So you kind of want to, and so I guess that's why it makes it so hard. Yeah, it's amazing. So that's such.
You should read the book, man.
When did he write that? It's probably like years ago.
I think it was like, I should look it up. I think it was because his first book was cool too, called this was his second book. His first book, I forgot the name of it, but that was good too. It was about the tipping point. It was a good book because tipping point was about anything. If you try to do something, what's the point where it goes off or doesn't go off?
Oh, okay, yeah. And so there is an actual point in anything
you
do.
It's called a tipping point. And so the example was hush puppies. You know the shoes.
The shoes,
yeah. When they invented hush puppies, the two guys, it didn't do well for the first year. It was two guys in New York, invented these shoes, didn't do nothing until some kid that's popular started wearing them in the nightclubs, and then his friends started wearing it, and then where'd you get those shoes? And then it just blew up from there, and from a span of a year, it just popular from that one person who had heaps of friends. So that was that story about. So that's what the tipping point is about. Yeah. It's about what point. There's a point where things blow up or don't blow up.
But what's the point? Like, is the point the marketing kind of thing? Like,
well, he talked about three. There's sometimes it's people that help, and there's three types of people. There's the popular person, which made the hush puppies go, and then there's the person with a lot of information, and then there's the salesman.
Wow!
So someone that's got the gift of the gab.
Because I was saying to my brother-in-law the other day, like have you seen those clickable lighters? It's just the normal. Well, they look disposable, but it's not like a Bic. It's the one and the thing comes out and it's got a bit of an angle at the top of the light and it's round. The thing's round, not a oval like a Bic lighter.
Oh, no.
It's just another disposable, but it's refillable. And I'm like, well, why is that not like? Sustainability is such a big thing. Why is someone not just marketing these like they're refillable lighters? Like, so yes, that's kind of that concept. Like, just flip it and go, like, what's that tipping point? And just change the narrative. Going, well, it's a refillable lighter. Yeah. Get the stats on how many thousands of landfills get filled with BIC lighters. But I think that clickable's been around for ages.
Was it?
But I never knew it was a refillable lighter. So you've probably seen them before. They're like the normal lighters that you always see, but instead of like the normal BIC lighter, it's like a round lighter, like just the end of it, like where you gotta light the lighter. It's not oval, it's round.
Oh, it's a normal. It looks like a BIC, but it's round there.
But it's just round. Yeah. But they're refillable. You can actually use those gas refill things on it.
Oh, true.
Yeah. And I was just thinking, like, we just see them just another disposable lighter. But if it was
so we threw them out without thinking to refill it.
Without realizing that, if you just market it as a refillable, that's an alternative, kind of that marketing. Like, someone could easily market that as being like, a sustainable alternative.
But see, I can see the tipping point for that. Tipping point is the rules around buying cigarettes.
People will still need lighters though, like just changing that mindset about this
or vapes.
Big lighter that just
vape would have killed that too.
True. Yeah.
I learned something about vapes the other day at the 21st I went to, actually. I didn't know you can build your own vape, and it's dangerous unless you know what you're doing.
You can build your own vape?
Yeah, but it's dangerous because if
dangerous?
It can explode.
Well, yeah, because the battery, like...
And it's about the coil too, or something. The coil and...
But what,
there's a science behind the whole... Yeah, there's a science behind the whole thing. Like apparently there's all these mechanical mods out there.
And people are trying to make their own.
Yeah, people make their own. It's a thing.
Why?
And it's like a collector item thing.
Okay.
So you can have a original...
Your own original version.
So you buy one, right? And you build it up again. But it's dangerous because if you don't know what you're doing, it can explode. Yeah.
Oh, so people are just modding like
yeah.
Oh wow, there's a whole Mac. Yeah.
So that's a new thing. I didn't even know this. The guy I was talking to was explaining it to me. I was like, oh shit, fuck. Now because I don't vape. But
does he do mods? The guy you were talking to?
He knows about it.
Yeah,
he does. But he's telling me like he does the mods, but he understands it's dangerous because he was telling me all the shit. I was like, oh yeah, I didn't know what he's talking about. Like,
because I always think about that.
It was
like,
over my head.
Yeah, it's always like you don't vape though, eh? Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, I guess anyone who does it probably wants to, try and do cool things with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because I always think there must be a way to those, because the biggest thing on a vape is the charger. But you get those things that you can plug into your phones, like a fan. You seen those? You plug it into your phone and it's like a fan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking you could probably do the same, like plug something in
your phone and vape.
Yeah, and just a vape. Then you don't need a big battery. You just put on the thing of the end.
Oh, gee. Just in the USB thing.
Yeah.
What that's been?
Yeah, because it kind of, because it sucks the power to make it a fan. So it must be the same thing. You just suck the power to make a vape.
Yeah. And then
I'm patenting that. So anyone who tries to steal my idea is 10%.
Because the first thing I thought was, I know why there's all these vape shops around. Because they probably do all the mods and they understand what happens there. Like, when I asked them, like, the guy I was talking to, how do you know? Like, he showed me on his one, like, you can, it tells you what it has in this machine. Like, the parts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he can bring it up. And then if it's like that, then don't get it because it might blow up.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Also, the guys who do the mods know what to kind of look out for. So what do they mod? What things? Like just the body of it, or
just the body of it.
Okay.
How much? And how much power to put it? They can put more power in.
Oh, to make the battery last longer.
Yeah, or even to have the amount of nicotine that comes out. It needs to burn more, so you need more power.
Oh shit!
So it's all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like the balance of the power to get more nicotine out. So there's like
it's crazy, yeah. Like whatever science people put out, that's like the base. And human, we just kind of go, cool. What else can I do? And we just try and push it.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what pushes technology. That's the best thing. Is like you kind of build something for one idea, and technology just makes people just push it. Like, cool. What else can I do?
Yeah.
How far can I push this thing?
Because that's right. Who's telling me? Because if you buy a vape from a store, like it'll tell you how much power goes in to light up the The coils.
The coils.
So you can actually mod it to give more power, to hotter than what it is, so you can give off more of what you're trying to suck.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what you're trying to get out of it.
Like the burn, like how much it burns of it. Yeah,
yeah, and you get, say if you get a vape pen and it only gives off 0.8 milligrams of whatever, you can mod it so it gives off more.
Oh, so it'll burn more to get more.
Yeah,
like,
or something like that.
Shucks.
Yeah, so that's why people mod to get different levels of.
And that's
fucking
crazy.
shit.
Like that's the thing. Like I guess that's kind of like backyard scientist stuff. But like, yeah, who are these people? Like, how do they come up with these ideas? Like,
Might have to take up vaping and
yeah.
join the gang in the vape store.
Oh, but they've been getting, every vape store I see coming up, probably like a couple weeks later, I see them boarded up with plywood. Yeah. I think they're the new hit for...
The ram raid.
Yeah, just ram raids. Like, I don't know what's up with that. Maybe they hold... I wouldn't think they'd hold a lot of cash.
I don't think it's about cash now. It's just about getting it on their social media.
What you need. Oh, you reckon? Like that? Oh.
Like I heard on the radio the other day, like they should take all the ram raid stories off the radio so kids don't, or TV, so kids
like
don't see it. And I'll do that tomorrow, or sort of thing. But then again, no kids watching TV these days? I don't know.
Yeah. I didn't think it's that.
But
maybe it's just...
It's a social media thing. I think a big factor.
Oh yeah, like just what do kids record their ram raids?
But someone was saying. Because now someone deals with kids. Yeah. And this is work.
Oh, so they seen those videos?
Yeah. And because the door, show them the videos. This is me when I went.
Oh, it was the actual kids. Oh, wow. Oh, shit.
Some of them. Shit.
Oh, man. That's next level. These kids just...
But then they're all kids, eh?
Well, yeah, that's the sad thing. That a lot of them are just kids. Like, but what's the story? Like the ones they've got caught, what do they say it is?
Oh, they can't do anything because they're too young.
But why do they do it? Like, they trying to get stuff for anyone or just for shits and giggles?
I don't know what they said exactly, but that's what they're saying. Like they're saying the adults are getting them to do it. But then you get the I think you get the ones where they just do over like a store and they just steal the drinks and that.
Oh and yeah, I saw that post on the page. Brown Butterbean. They raided his the food bank. Oh,
yeah,
no.
And he just said, "Man, I want to give it to you." He didn't have to ram it out. I want to give it to you for free, man.
Yeah, poor dude, because he was saying it looked like he was saying, "I hope it's no one we help," because like they went to all the places.
Oh yeah,
they knew where to go. I was like, "Oh, these guys."
Oh, true.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. Like they seem to know all the places to go. They hit all the freezers and stuff. I was like, "Oh, come on." They were all gonna help out. I'll do some charity work. Bastard guy.
But see, that tells me it's social media. Because I don't think what you can get out of it. You're gonna go for that trouble to ram raid just to get that stuff.
Especially like frozen. Like it just feels like getting the frozen stuff sounds like people who actually need to eat.
See, with the Michael Hill jewelry, yeah, that's organized. Hey, that's specific.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna fence that, and that's a proper robbery.
Yeah.
But to rob like cigarettes and drinks and chocolates at the dairy, nah. See, to me, that's just like one of those social media. Be part of the social media gang.
Yeah, true. Well, yeah, I don't know. Sends a message though, because even like when I saw that on Butterbeans, I was thinking maybe this is like those gangs just showing like we don't give a fuck. Like, yeah, your charity, whatever, we're gonna bust anyone. So I don't know if that's their message they're trying to send, because
like a payback thing.
I don't know, these gangs these days just meddlers, bro.
There's heaps of them there.
Yeah, that's what the kids are saying. Like even my kids, like quite clued in, like they know all the stuff that's happening. It's crazy.
See, I don't even know how much influence they have, especially in the store and in retail and that. Like I know, like you always hear stories, especially along Care Road back in the days. And
Oh, like those mafia styles, like you gotta pay a guy.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think they're. Maybe a few places. That little strip in Calston, probably. That Chinese next to Snap Fitness down the road, definitely. Yeah, I know you guys try and come play pokies there. I know what's going on. I was telling one of the other boys, I was saying, like, because he was like concerned, like, man, there's a lot of stuff going on, like it's getting worse. I was like, that's Western society though. Like everything we see is what America was 10 years ago. It's always been the way. Like,
Yeah.
This is a society we've bought into. Unless New Zealand breaks away, that's kind of everything you see is coming. So don't act like it's not coming. If it's happening there, it'll be here eventually.
See, you gotta figure out how much of it is the media just trying to get engagement.
Yeah.
I mean, they need stories, and you see negative stories anyway.
Yeah, and some of the stuff was like, I think like fake news, like bringing up stuff that's not really a thing, but it's like, it's a easy thing to push an agenda on. Like we know enough stuff about to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the way there's all these ram raids happening in the media, like then I heard someone say, "Oh, it was always like that. You guys never reported it before."
Exactly. Yeah, and that's so true. Like, I guess media does that. Like, focuses on whatever's gonna, like, the dog thing. Like, dogs fucking biting kids every day. But ain't nobody making an excuse until like, something happened here. Let's make a report. And then next thing, like 3 weeks of dog attacks. Like, everyone's dog's going to get locked up. Yeah. And
every dog attack comes out.
Yeah. And then it just drops off. So, I guess this is the new ram raise the flavor of the month. Yeah.
It's risky in the government, though. Like how that money they've allocated to help the shops deal with ram raids hasn't come through yet. Hasn't gone to support those businesses yet, because I think they gave up how many millions of dollars to help these businesses put security, like pay for the security, like smoke screens. Have you seen those smoke ones?
Like in the petrol station.
If you smash a window, then the smoke just consumes the whole inside.
Yeah, because BP over here has it. Yeah.
And bollards as well. So none of that money has come through yet.
Oh, so what? All these guys been doing it off their own back?
Stuck in the red tape still. But they announced it like ages ago. So there's that.
But I guess it's true. It's the same stuff that's been around for a while. It's just being reported on now.
So I think we're gonna have a new government next year. I think the way the mayor turned out.
Oh, he's been going good though. Like, I guess, he's funny. Like I'm in that sector, so it's pretty hard case. But good on him. Like, I guess he's steamrolling ahead, because I guess that's the thing. Like, what I see is he's like, let's do this, let's review this, and what we're not prepared for is the speed, because I guess it's like there's process and this, and I think that's where he's like,
cutting it out.
No process.
Cutting the red tape
out. Yeah. He's like, no process. This is what I want to do.
How much power does he really have? Because doesn't he need the councillors to sign it off?
So there's the councillors, and then there's those boards of the different council-controlled organisations.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the thing, like, maybe it's a breath of fresh air, because I guess it's stuff that has always taken ages, and there's a process. And so maybe it's just time to just go, what's your process? Like, get rid of all the processes and start from scratch. Because you think all of these processes have built up over, years of kind of administrations of going, let's do a proper way to do that. You can't just talk to this guy and send an email and go, hey, I want this to happen, because he's too busy for that. So we got to, put it in a queue. And this is the same like anything. It's like, process just means put it through someone so that it gets to me when I'm ready. That's what processes are. So maybe he's just going, oh, fuck. Let's get, I don't need any of those, put it through this guy. I'm trying to email that guy, and I want him to answer me.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty much it. Processes are basically everyone's busy, and we need to make a way to organize the stuff that people get so they can prioritize their work. But that's just like a bit of a eat-ass kind of, everyone says like there's a process or something, but it just means give me like 5 days before I see that thing, and then I can work on it. I'll finish these, and it should come to me. And so that's pretty much what people term as a process. So I think it's probably a big shake-up that people are going to see. But I think that's how he's trying to do it. He's trying to go, I just want to shake everything and understand what's a real delay and we've invented a process to make delays.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing for us at work with the building consents. Because, we apply and then they give us a time.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they give us the questions to answer. And it's like, what the fuck? This is out of the blue.
Yeah, and that's what I see.
That's the delay.
Yeah.
The delay some more. And then because we still get questions that we never got before in the whole working life.
I think that's the frustrations most people have is there's processes, but you should be set things that's like, cool, I expect A, B, C, D. And then it's like, cool, okay, I'm going to get that ready for you and I'll send it. But you shouldn't be like, cool, now I need E, F, and G. It's like, whoa. Hey, man. Yeah, and so it seems to be a bit of a game kind of like, the ball's in your court now. And then when you're too quick, it's like, oh, plus these things, like, oh. And then when you're quick again, it's like, oh, plus these, like, whoa, hey.
Hey, I never saw these things last time.
Do I need 10 things? Because you started with 5, and now I need 3 plus 2. Like, if you knew that I needed all 8 of these things, why did you not tell me at the beginning? Not just there's 5 and now, oh, you came back too quick, there's another 3. And that's and I guess that's perception. And that's real perception because I experience the same in other things, that I'm dealing with council. And so if it's like, well, if I see the same and I'm in work and I kind of see the same, so yes, anyone's going to be like, well, if you told me there's 5 and now all of a sudden there's another 3 and another 2, it's like, it feels eat. So like, yeah, I think that's what Wayne's just trying to shake the tree to go, cool, show me what, like, I know you've put some stuff in there over the years because everyone's been busy. Show me what you actually need. Like, is it 3 things? Because that's cool, but don't show us 8 things because you're just busy. And just trying to delay stuff because it's like, oh, here's some other stuff I need. Like, so you didn't need this yesterday, but all of a sudden it's urgent. It's urgent like 2 days from out when I told you a month ago. Yeah. Exactly.
Because we get hit with extra 3-4 things.
Yeah.
But these 3-4 things, man, I did the same application 3 years ago, all my 10 years of working, and never got this question before in my life.
Yeah. And that's the thing. As frustrating as an insider, but as the outsider looking in as well, is every part of council that you touch seems to be differing. It's just consistency. Like everyone, like if you don't get a consistent experience, you're gonna call bullshit. Like anyone you ring, any contact center, any business that you ring, if you get good service from one person and then shitty service from another person, straight away there's some BS happening because it's like, well, if this guy can do it but that guy can't, then you guys have some ass rules that someone's put in, but it's not a real thing. It's just like, if this guy's good, he knows how to get around it. But if this guy's new, he's going to follow these ass rules and make it take ages. So I'm always going to go that other guy. And so, people working in the business, they don't have a problem because they know, I'm always going to go to Ed because Ed always gets it sorted. So I think that's the kind of rubbish that hopefully he'll sort out and he wants to address.
Yeah. Because the other thing is, what it does is makes us even more busy. We're busy as it is, right?
Yeah.
So why you want to make us even more busy? We're not asking him to make us more busy. We just want to get this other job done so we can do another job.
Exactly.
But I hope he does something about it because it's like the council gives. If the council is worried about the time, right? So they give more things out so they can buy time.
Yep.
But they have to understand the people they're giving the people they're giving it out to are busy as well.
Well, yeah. I guess it's generation. Yeah, I don't know how he fixes, because some of that stuff is real, and some of it's timely too. So some of it's like the guys that are telling you, "Oh, we need these 3 more things," they didn't know it either. So it's like it all starts from the top too. It's like everyone needs to be clear, because I think the minions are the ones that you probably deal with, and so they're the ones passing stuff, and then all of a sudden like, and I need these 3 more things, like. So, like, why did this? And they're probably like, man, this guy just told me now too. So I'm telling you, And so I think it's probably clearing up a lot of those layers of, from the top. Like, just tell us what we need, so that we can get stuff moving. Because I think that's what he's trying to do. Like all of those processes, especially for businesses like partners. Like, how do we speed that up? Like, let's get rid of. If there's someone in the middle that needs to say okay, like. Get rid of him. He doesn't need to say okay. Like just okay.
So I saw the CEO of AT resigned, like a couple of days after.
The chair. Yeah.
Oh, the chair. Yeah, the chair.
Yeah. So our chairman. So that was her dream job, apparently.
Hey.
So that was her dream job, and she was kind of quite aligned with Phil Goff on his views. So I don't know what his views. So I work in the business, but I don't know what his views and her views were. But apparently, it was her dream job because it was kind of aligned to what the aspiration was. So
it was an interesting local body election, local government election, because it's the first time I was like really up to speed with what was going on. I tried to keep up what's going on, because I was interested in like how there's so few people interested, and they got only 10% votes or something, whole of Auckland or something like that, 30% or something.
31%.
31%, and 10% of that voted our new mayor or something like that.
Well, yeah. So if Fessel's campaign, like I hadn't followed much of it, but I voted Fessel, and I kind of thought he'd be a shoo-in because I hadn't heard much from anyone else. The only person I thought was challenging Fessel was what's that other guy? He was local. He always put stuff up against out west on the Te Aratu Park.
Craig Lord.
Nah, it was that other dude. Forgotten his name. Was he was it Lynn? Oh nah, that's Lynn Brown.
No.
It was that other Balinga guy. Sai was going from. Leo. Was it Leo?
I can't remember.
So I didn't know much about Wayne until he won. I didn't know he was.
Yeah, so he used to be
pretty much.
He used to be a mayor of Northland.
Okay.
But they kicked him out
What?
because he was crap or something.
Okay.
But I think because of his demeanor, I think because he's a national affiliate.
What's his background?
I know he came from. I know he's a businessman.
Yeah. I heard he's like got.
He's a businessman, and he was ex-mayor of Northland.
Yeah.
And he gets texts from Helen Clark and John Key. Which
I don't follow it much.
He points out in all his debates. Because I had Craig Lord on the podcast, so I had to research.
Oh yeah.
To what to talk to him about. So I had to watch all the debates and that. I wouldn't have done it if everyone's coming on. So I had to do that. But it was quite interesting. But you know what? I didn't vote for Fessel because I didn't really agree with his stance on priorities.
What were his priorities?
Like to me, I felt like
I just voted because I know because it's someone.
And that's the thing, right? That's the thing. Like I had to keep my heart out of it.
Yeah.
So I had to go in my mind because I don't want to ride a fucking bike everywhere. Man, I don't want to ride a bike everywhere. And for me, the whole climate change thing shouldn't be a priority. For me, climate change, if you're poor, climate change is the last thing on your mind. So I think
you think?
Yeah.
I probably agree. Like I used to think it's strange. Like I was gonna say, like I used to think climate change wasn't a thing. I still think climate, like it is a thing.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
out
the
of the
thing.
thing-
But I think there's more priorities than climate change.
And you know what brought that home to me was trying to explain it to my dad. So I was trying to explain like in Samoa to him, like, you know, climate change and stuff like this. And he's saying to me, "Oh, and so what happens when you guys do that?" And I was like, yeah. And so it's like helps to reduce it. Like, what does it change? It's like probably not much, probably less than 1%. And I guess that's the reality. That's what I've always struggled with is climate change is something that's happening to the world, and we think as humans we can do something about it.
Yeah.
Like, that's why it's a joke. Like, seriously, a joke. Like, people, and I guess people, you know, sustainability is a big thing. But I don't think it's like, yes, humans can help it,
Yeah.
but we didn't cause it. I
Yeah.
fully believe we didn't cause it. Like, people will say we caused it, but I think climate changes the world. That's just what happens.
I don't think it cause it, but we can help it along with pollution in it. You know, but my point of view on the whole climate change thing is, what can little old New Zealand do? Nothing. Because this is there's like big countries out there that's just doing heaps to help it along, like China.
But even in New Zealand, the things we're doing are carbon credits. It's nothing. Carbon credits is just a transaction that doesn't mean nothing, because all it's saying is like, we're gonna pay more for the carbon we create. So all these businesses just going, oh yeah, well, we're gonna finance that and somehow make a monetary contribution to the environment. Like,
Yeah, but what's that about? Is that really about
exactly
climate change, or is that about having?
that's just balancing the books.
Having
just saying,
a certificate on your company name.
now
say,
we're
we're
a
good
sustainable
guys. We're the good
company.
guys.
We're one of the guys who are zero carbon. Come and join us. Yeah, exactly.
It's virtual signaling, right?
It's like master builders. It's like master builders. It's not a real thing. If you're a master builder, you're not a real thing. You just got a.
You just paid for the. You just paid for the
You
certificate.
paid for your certificate. Ain't nothing. No one's checking if you're an actual master builder. You ain't legal.
Honestly, no, that I don't agree with the whole climate change thing, because I think New Zealand can't do nothing about the whole situation. Like, we can't save the whole world, right? A small country like us, because we're up against like the big dogs, right? We're up against America, China, these big continents that just who gives a fuck?
Reality. Like, maybe we sound ignorant, maybe we sound silly, but that's the reality. Like, what can you, like, you know how they kind of put it on personal responsibility and you can make a change. So it's like, well, now you've gone from like, I can crush all these cans and make a difference, and now New Zealand can crush all these cans and make a difference, but we're still only crushing a 6-pack in the world of a keg. Like, we're a drop in the bucket. So when you kind of make these harsh penalties for us, and then you watch the world doing nothing, it's like, well,
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the latest thing the government's been roasted for, is this new fat
but that
tax.
wasn't them though. Like,
The fat tax.
because
Did you hear about that?
but that was coming back to National's day. So National has a hand to play in that. So I don't want to get on politics, but National were the ones who signed us up to this very thing. And so they have a hand in it. They could, like, I thought they would have, in the last government, said no to all of this BS. But they signed up to it. So as much as we go, oh, the Labour government's, put us in there, National signed us up to it. So they're both accountable. And so I guess in terms of politics, you can't go, oh, Labour's the bad guys because they're doing this rubbish thing. National had a chance to get us out of this, and they signed up to this stupid agreement, and that's why we're in this. So
that's the fat tax, right? That's the
so the fat tax was all of part of this. This was OSEC. You remember when they all came here a few years ago, and so this was all part of that OSEC kind of shit. And so part of that agreement was to sign up to this bullshit about sustainability, all of this green and all that, blah, blah, blah. And so this is the same agreement. So Labour's just committing to that same agreement. Because it's not like Labour National made it and we've got to follow through with what they committed to. This is like a bigger than us kind of thing. So there's countries all around the world, same as like the NATO kind of agreements. that you kind of get on board and go, cool, we're all going to commit. So we can't just one government go, yes, we're going to commit, and then the next government go, oh, no, we're not in. It's the same thing like, what's happening with Putin and stuff. It's like there's a NATO agreement and you're either in or you're out. If you break this thing, now you're no longer in this kind of pact. And so, Labour's partly to blame following through, but National's got a bigger hand because they had a real chance in the term that they were in to just go, nah, this is bullshit. So it kind of comes back on National as well. Like this was in their term that they agreed to these things.
But now they're against it too, just because of the fact, because they're opposition. Now they're gonna.
Yeah, exactly. So they're opposition, but they can kind of take over, but they'll still have to have a duty of care to this agreement. Like I don't know how long it lasts for.
I know that came from whatever global organization is in charge of the whole climate change. Do you know the name of it? The world climate change.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, but one of their policies that came out.
Yeah, that was that summit.
Yeah. So it was like okay, you can actually bring down your beef farming by 20% by introducing this new tax, and this money's going to go overseas to a country that needs trees, and we'll plant trees.
Yeah, exactly. And so those were the agreements that you kind of do these rubbish. Yeah.
But then all our farmers are complaining right now. There's going to be a march. They're going to bring all their tractors down to the parliament again in the next couple of weeks, I think, to say no to this thing. Because I listened to this on the radio, and they were saying, well, public don't want their meat prices to go up.
Well, that's the thing. So New Zealand is based on agriculture, and the way we farm isn't sustainable anymore, apparently. So apparently meat farms are not good. Like all of our farms are no longer good. So apparently, like, hey, you need to build farms like John's. Like you need to do, you need to have microgreen farms everywhere. Apparently, because that's the only way of the future. Because meat's no good. Yeah, so it's crazy. Like where we're heading. So
the Uso came on, took the banners microgreens.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's out of it. How did you listen to that?
Yeah. Because I didn't I saw the microgreens, and I thought they were like you see sprouts in the shop. I didn't know they were actually micro broccoli, micro asparagus, all those different things. Yeah, it was a good listen. I just knew him as a boxer. I didn't know he knew stuff about microgreens.
He's pretty onto it with his knowledge on that and his interest in getting into it.
Well, especially to run it, like understand it and research it and then run it.
Because he's probably the only Samoan guy in that kind of. But then he spoke about a family in Samoa actually doing it too. Trying to export.
Yeah.
He's connected to them too. So.
Hopefully it takes off. It makes sense, like all the stuff he's saying. Like, I guess that's the thing. We probably think, it's just sprouts. But I reckon it's future. Like, when he talks about it, I'm like, it sounds like future. Like what food's gonna be like. Everyone wants it easy. Like, I don't want to eat a whole thing of broccoli, but if I can eat a mouthful of little baby broccoli and get the same benefit, why not?
Lately I've been like looking up all these vegetable recipes on YouTube. Yeah, I found this nice broccoli one, and it's like so it's broccoli. Put it in you steam it, put it to the side. Then in the frying pan, you put some garlic, chili flakes, and lemon, and Parmesan cheese, and just throw it all together and just mix it up, man. Beautiful.
And then what? Put the broccoli back in it.
And just mix it all up. It's beautiful, man. Like, damn, it's like.
Well, that's it. Just that and broccoli.
Garlic, and butter. And butter, so it's garlic butter.
Man, I thought you were gonna say and ham, and bacon.
Oh no, I have a steak.
It's just a vegetable dish.
Yeah, just a vegetable dish, but it's nice.
Sounds alright. Yeah,
but then
just the flavors.
I cook a steak on the side and just have that steak with it too. Surely it's mean, man. But that's all it takes, man. It's easy and like just makes the broccoli taste that much better, man.
Yeah, just bringing those flavors out of the day.
Because broccoli's a superfood, So I'm trying to eat more of that.
Yeah, or is it a superfood? I didn't hear that part of the podcast.
I don't know. I think it's all the nutrition's that's inside it.
Superfly.
But fuck, I gotta do something about all that shit, man. I gotta change my diet. Too many junk food, man. Been eating too many junk food lately.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I'm working from home heaps, so and I packed it on. I think that's a thing of because it's just convenient being at home. You can eat easy.
That's why you gotta like, because I love to cook. I've found this like new thing of cooking, enjoying it. It's almost as if like I should have been a chef when I was younger.
How many times this guy cooking a week? I don't want to hear this guy. I love cooking, but I didn't cook at home.
Well, we have this thing in our house, like we all take turns having to turn it a cooking Monday to Friday.
Oh yeah.
And every man for himself, Sunday and Sunday. So I got Wednesday. So Wednesday is my cooking day.
And but you just try and come with a new dish every week.
Yeah,
or?
So that's a challenge. Try to.
Oh yeah, keep it fresh.
Because I'm good at watching YouTube.
Yeah.
And just looking at recipes and doing the same things.
Yeah, I like doing dishes. What do you find hard? Like I find hard just cooking the actual making the things to put on it and stuff and all the mixes and marinades. But it's the actual cooking I still, because it's like an estimate, cook it for 5 or 10 minutes each side. That's the stuff I don't know. Like, how do you know what's right? Like,
now my hardest part is the prep. The prep's my hardest part.
Getting it all ready,
I find it time consuming. I'm not fast at cutting shit.
Yeah, I usually put aside an hour to do rubbish like that. Because it's the thing, I don't mind doing that. I don't mind just, kind of just being anal over those things.
Yeah.
But it's the actual cooking that I fail
itself.
at. Yeah.
Now see, I'm alright
so
with that.
however long it's if they estimate 10, 12 minutes per side, I get real anal
Oh, true.
Yeah, and then it's getting black, and I'm like, it says 12 minutes. Like, man, that's burning. And I'm like, no, I gotta keep it on here for 12 minutes. Yeah.
Same temperature, because I don't find that a problem, because I like freestyling that part of it. I just throw whatever
looks like.
Yeah, whatever looks, then I'll just take it out. Even the amount, I just throw it in.
Okay,
as long as it's in there.
Yeah.
I don't take notice of the amount.
Oh, yeah. See, I need to get better at that then.
It's just the prepping I hate, man. It takes ages. Because I had the problem with saying, didn't ready an hour to 3 hours later.
Oh, yeah, I'm the same though, because you cook for heaps as well, eh? Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't cook for, it's 5 of us. But yeah, I'm used to just doing the recipe, I can do one. And that looks mean. As soon as I have to cook for more than 2, I was like, It's already, I was 5 minutes and then it's already, okay, maybe I'm off, maybe half an hour.
No, you're right, man. Because I haven't had the chance to cook for 2 people in my life yet, so I'm not used to. I'm not used to that, but I can see how cheaper it will be and how easy it will be.
Yeah, because it's just you can time that.
Because all the videos I see it's all about cooking for 2 people, 3 people.
Yeah.
And then I gotta double everything that I see in this video.
Yeah, that's where I get it wrong. Is just thinking, pinch of this, pinch of that. It's like, where's the rest?
But pasta, I realized I don't need much. So I cook this chicken pasta. I have this chicken pasta, and I know, because it's all about the pasta, right?
Yeah.
So that's enough to get you full. So I don't need a whole fucking 2 kilos of chicken to cut up.
Oh yeah.
Just one will do. One breast will do. That's enough.
just poke it out of the pasta.
Put some pasta in there to make it look green. But it's all that it's funny because I've been cooking a lot lately, off YouTube, like looking at a dish that I get from a takeaway or a restaurant, looking it up and then actually cooking it, getting the ingredients and cooking it. Probably, I don't know, I just experiment like that, eh? But then when you actually go to a place now, like sometimes I go to a place, I'll take Sin out and we'll go eat something at a place and it comes and fuck, I could make that at home. You know?
So that's what I struggle with because I'm not well travelled. And so when you kind of go for these traditional Thai dishes, blah, 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 I'll go eat at the place and I'm like, okay, that's what it tastes like.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what it actually, people like, oh, traditional, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's the thing. So I just go off what, if I go to those places, oh yeah, that was nice, so I'll try and make that. But I don't know if that's the real flavour.
Especially out west, man. Because we've been trying to go to all these places for breakfast.
Around here?
Like going to these cafes for breakfast around here.
Oh yeah.
Went to the McDonald's farm. Have you been there? McDonald's farm. At Keeling Road, there's these islanders, they have this cafe on Keeling Road.
Oh, off Henderson Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's one up in Crystal Mountain, that animal place.
Is there a cafe in there?
There's a cafe in there too. I'm a bit disappointed, eh? And plus, with all the prices that
are you
gone
looking
up,
for? Like,
I'm just going to have.
oh, like a nice kind of place where you can have a nice brunch or something.
Like we've been going there for breakfast.
Oh yeah.
Like eggs on toast. I get it. Like all the eggs on toast. You want to get eggs on toast because you don't want to. You can't be bothered cooking it at home.
Yeah.
But at least have something that's you
more than what you could have cooked at home.
You cook at home,
Oh.
I know you're paying for that.
I drove for 10 minutes and I felt like I should have just stayed home.
I get it. You're paying for the ambience. You're paying for the going out, the experience. Yeah. That's cool. But at least put something extra in there that you can't make at home.
Yeah. Nothing.
Like it's just it's just.
What are you expecting?
For that price? Fuck.
Oh, it's expensive.
It's pretty expensive. Like really? For what it is.
Yeah.
Like $25 for something you can make at home.
What? Like literally, like
a toast and an egg on top, sort of thing. I'm exaggerating, but it's
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, should be something more.
Because we had our work breakfast not long ago, and we went to this place called Ozone in Greyland.
Oh yeah.
And they've got like a kitchen in the middle where you can sit around and watch them cook.
Okay, yeah.
And they just serve your eggs Benedict or eggs
straight off the grill from there.
Yeah, straight off the grill. Omelette, a salmon omelette.
Yeah.
It's like $25, same price as our West.
Yeah. But at least
it's
you get
like fancy.
Like yeah.
It's like fancy as it's an omelette, but it's like all the shit on top. It's like it's not folded how it's used to be folded, like how
so you can
recognize
see everything.
it. Yeah, it's like fancy. It's like it's real fancy. Yeah. And I was thinking,
I get what you mean. Yeah.
And I was thinking, fuck.
Just the effort,
like this is the same price as that was. I'm coming over here, like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I feel cool. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. That's what I've noticed. Like, going around, like. But I don't know if there's like.
But I think that's the thing. Like, more people will expect that. Like, everything's more expensive now. We get that. And if you can still afford to go out, make it more than what I would have done at home.
Yeah, exactly.
Make me feel like, oh yeah, I'm glad I came out.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because I don't mind paying the money.
Yeah.
But show me something that I don't have to make at home, man. Like,
yeah. And I guess that's the thing. Like you're gonna lose customers. I guess that's the warning. Like people expect more. Like you can't just bust out the same thing. I'm gonna make at home because it's like, well, I came out for a reason. She dragged me out of bed, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll go there because I'll get a good. And it's like, oh man, I could have stayed in bed. You could have made this for me.
But I think that said something about how I don't know how things are with inflation and that. Like like you said, I understand things are going.
Probably
up.
just says more how rich you are.
Not even that, but I don't know.
But yeah, I guess when things get expensive, everyone tightens. So if you are gonna make that trip out on a weekend, especially because it's not a, like, some people, maybe it was a every day, like, oh, let's have breakfast before we go to work. Some people like, oh, tighten the belt, we'll save it for the weekend. So if you're only having that experience on a weekend, I want to go out, just chill. There's no more kids footy. So like Saturday morning, let's just have a morning, breakfast. You're kind of building up to that all week, and it's like such a letdown.
Yeah.
Like, man, like,
Yeah.
it's not heaps of money. It's not like breaking the bank. Like, I could have gone someone else, but this is my local. I'm trusting you to, make an effort for me because I'm coming to support you. And then you just get let down. It's like, oh, that's why you're going to fail.
Well, it's only the way I see it now that you said that. I'm thinking now because I do cook in the kitchen. I do cook, so I do know. I can watch YouTube.
What the effort is.
I can watch YouTube and cook the same things. But see, if I can't find YouTube what I saw when I went to Grey Lynn.
Exactly, and that's the thing. That has been the biggest thing. Like, even in the IT sector, people aren't happy when when something breaks, and people are like, oh, sorry, we just had a little issue. Everyone knows, like, computers aren't something foreign anymore. Like, people troubleshoot their laptops every day. Like, they're like, oh, this thing's not working. Like, oh, I'll try and do this. I'll try and do that. So people know how to do those basic things. So when you ring the contact center or ring the help desk and they tell you to restart, it's the same thing. It's like, oh. I could have done, like, I got out of bed, I got dressed, I came to your restaurant, and then you told me to restart. Like, oh man, I could have just stayed in bed and got the same thing. Like, I could have made that. Like, show me something different. Show me, And so I think everyone in all sectors expect more. And especially when it's so tight, it's like, well, okay, I'm not spending all week because I'm coming for this experience, and I'll pay $25. Like, I can make bacon and eggs, but I want to have your bacon and eggs. So if it comes, it's like, oh man, yours are worse than mine. Like, why did I pay $25? So I think we are definitely, if you're in that realm to be able to do that, it's paying for the experience more than anything now. Yeah.
I also think it's a trust problem too, because the trust has not allowed some creativity to come out with. That's the whole argument.
Even in the eateries, though.
Yeah, I reckon.
Because there's that one, and that popular one, that Pacific Island one near the Countdown in Ponsonby. Like, we don't have any of those kind of cafes, and there's nothing limiting anyone doing that. Like, kind of.
What's wrong with that one? Because I know the Blue Rose, the one in Sandringham, the one with the hangi pie and the and the palusami pie.
Yeah. So there's that Blue Rose. I think this one's just a cafe in Ponsonby, but it's owned by a Pacifica couple.
Are they Tongan? I think Sin went there. I think she told me she went to a Tongan cafe in Ponsonby. That's what she said. So I assume that's
okay. But so those kind of cafes, like, I guess in terms of like the bars, but cafes, is it the same rules? Like, do they have a?
Only if you sell alcohol, I think.
Because that's the thing, like, we don't have any. Like, we've got the usual cafes. Even like, we don't have much of a cafe scene.
No.
Out West Auckland, and there's nothing the trust can do about that. So that's interesting. Like, because even cafes are like a nice, vibrant kind of vibe too. Like, you like going to those. Like, Te Aratu's got a.
I know there's a nice cafe in Lincoln Road next to Sal's Pizza. On that little block of shops there with Sal's Pizza. You know where Sal's Pizza is? On Lincoln Road?
On the main road there next to Burger Fuel and that. It's in the front.
Nah, that's House Pizza. You know the BP on Lincoln Road? The new one?
Yeah.
Opposite McDonald's, kind of?
Yeah.
And
on the corner there.
On the other side of the street of BP, there's the little block of shops. There's Sal's Pizza.
Yeah.
And then that block, there's a cafe. That's a nice one.
Oh, on the corner of the Sal's, next to the Sal's.
Next to the Sal's. Sal's
okay.
Pizza. I think it's Sal's, then
Sushi?
Peter Pitt, and then the cafe.
Okay.
There's that one. And also, there's that cafe on at the back of Hangenbach, that plant.
Oh, the Pampa one. Yeah,
Pampa.
that's nice. Yeah, I've been there.
Oh, I love their Reuben sandwich.
Yeah, see, so stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing holding, kind of entrepreneurs or Pacifica coming through and kind of building up those places, especially out west.
Mm. Yeah, so there are some places. Yeah. This is gold dust hazy. I haven't had this before. 5%.
Yeah, these are both hazies, eh?
Oh man, when I went to because we had a drop. My work we've got a squash team because one of the guys at my work he belongs to a squash club.
Right.
In Epsom, in Epsom, and every year, every February they have like a squash tournament for people that don't play.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
sick.
So our work always jumps in. So I jump in. Can't play squash for shit, but man, I sweat hard, man. It's fucking good.
That's a good.
That's
sweat.
a good sweat, eh? But I get wasted every time, but man, I come out like sweating. But they've got beer on tap at the end. And that's the reason why I go. Because they've got hazy. And they've got the Tuatara hazy.
Yeah.
And man, honest, I was like, one sip, I just scolded the whole beer. Because one, I was sweaty hard, and I was like fucking tired as, like, you know.
Ah, yeah.
I was quenched first, man. Thirsty as. Just like, sculled my whole first beer of hazy. And then, but that hazy, it's a thing, eh? It's a new flavor, eh? It's pretty popular.
Yeah. What is it? It's like a bit zesty or something?
I think it's just like fruity. With the IPA base, but it's the hazy
Like
makes
a
it
bit of a
fruity.
fruit. Ah, okay, yeah.
But you can get different types. But man, that Tuatara hazy, man, that's the best thing. And after that, I just look out for hazy all the time.
Oh, yeah.
But fuck, man, squash, man, that's a good sport if you want to get fit, eh?
Yeah, that's what I heard. Like
For fitness.
Yeah. Oh, you're just running that whole time, like.
And you know, it's like 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Oh, is that the time?
Yeah, the time
Yeah,
because we gotta come off and rotate. But 3 minutes, man, feels like fucking 1 hour.
Oh, really? Just
Because like halfway, I'm like, fuck, when's it gonna finish? Just like tired as.
especially when the ball, because it's a soft day, so you gotta slam it every time.
Yeah.
You can't just like hit it like tennis. So you gotta slam it hard.
That's a cool sport, eh? But it's cool for fitness if you're just in for fitness and take it up
Yeah, no.
for the sweat if you like sweating.
Yeah. I
good
think
cardio.
That's what it's a good cardio bloody sport.
I was thinking of joining the one up in the Henderson, eh? The Henderson one next to the police station.
Buscombe.
Basket, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just have their beer. Because that it's a kind of sweat that makes you want to have a beer, man. Honest,
Just that intense. Like
it's
you
that
need
intense,
to-
man. Because I've experienced having a beer after a rugby game, but it must be the same, eh?
Yeah, I think it's that. Yeah. That once you're fully like spent, I think that's the thing. It's just. Yeah, I don't know. It's that it feels replenishing. I don't know if it's just because you didn't get a water. But no, yeah, water kind of tastes off when you're that wasted.
Oh,
yeah.
I think it's that hard work feeling, eh? You need to, just like mowing the lawns, like beer after mowing the lawns. Shit, that is
That's
fucking.
that's the Saturday vibe. That's what I was missing. I was thinking.
Shit.
I messaged John on Saturday because I was like doing my lawns and I was like getting wasted. I was like, just thinking. Oh. And I was thinking, man, this when I'd usually message eyes like, Sonny, what's the plans for tonight? What's the plans for the tour? Like, should I go have a sleep or we going mission all night?
So like those are the drinking things, eh? Like mowing the lawn, yeah, that's one. What's another one? Yeah, rugby after rugby game. Yeah, that's another one. Squash game, definitely.
And Friday.
Friday after work, eh?
Yeah, it's just that end of week, like.
End of week, yeah. That game's on. That's another excuse.
A game, yeah. Because it's those little, like.
Yeah.
I think it's the thing, like, as long as you've kind of. Because I think that's I don't know if that's an old school thing, like, earning your drink.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of, like, enjoy, like, if you did the gardens or just something, like, the end of week is kind of, like. Even sometimes it's like end of day, like, yes. I think I've deserved one. It's a hard day.
How about a song? If you hear a song, was that one? Depends, eh? There's factors involved there, eh?
Yeah, because I guess that's the thing. Like, yeah, it's random.
You have to be...
If you hear that song on the way to work, what do? You just pull over, like, so boss, I heard my jam, I can't come in. That's my jam. So I need to call in sick today, mate.
Nah, the variables have to be, you got to have a day off the next day. You got to put on a sweat. Yeah, when the jam comes on, yep, that's a factor. Definitely.
Origin's always a good excuse.
Origin, that when Origin comes around, because that's during the week, you just got to plan for it, eh? No, you're going to, if you want to take a day off after game 3 or game 2.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Like, that's what's good about Origin. You can plan that ahead and you know, like, if there's a Wednesday, if you want to go hard, like, make sure you got the first day off. Otherwise, don't turn up to Starling.
Shit. I'm glad we sussed that out, eh? We sussed out those things. We know there's certain things that make us go to that place.
Well, yeah, I don't know if there's still a question, because it is such a, like you were saying, like a tribal thing. Like, there's a recipe to that. Like, someone, if you can figure out what makes a Kiwi that passionate about State of Origin, man, you could sell that to any game.
Yeah. And I think when I talked to Tracy Yatinga about this, she reminded me and Isaiah about, remember when they brought the Bramford Shield to your school?
Oh, no, I don't remember that.
Apparently they brought it to Birdwood Primary.
Oh, okay.
And those guys had...
Oh, and that inspired them.
They could touch the shield and...
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Like those kind of things. Like going to schools and having... I don't know, but I think that's just... I don't think Americans would do that. They don't have to do that.
No, yeah. I think it's very, very much like your community, like your family, like... Because my dad wasn't a big leaguey, but I remember, like, just my brothers and just... Yeah, one Origin, and then, like, all the boys being so hyped. So, yeah, I guess it's a very tribal, like, what you think is your community. If that's what they're about, then it's like, I want to be that too.
Because, for me, growing up, league wasn't my thing. It was never my thing growing up.
Yeah, well, no.
It was always rugby union.
Yeah.
It was always Mono Samoa, All Blacks, Auckland Rugby. Yeah.
So it was very much the Starling thing that... Because I think Starling made me Origin.
It was only Starling that made me into league.
Yeah, because I remember they had those... So I remember Starling was very... mainly just Eyes and JT and them. Like, it was a family thing. So I didn't come down to Starling till later. And, like, before I came to Starling, like, Origin was a thing, but not like a... like a Starling thing. So yeah, that's when it became like a thing for me too. So,
but I remember the NRL. Oh, it was Winfield Cup back then. But it was the cards, trading cards.
Oh yeah.
A lot of the guys in my intermediate were trading the cards.
Those trading cards.
But I never knew much about it. I just knew there were cards, but I knew guys were into it. But I wasn't into rugby league then. I
remember the cards, but I wasn't fully into it either. Like, yeah.
The first time I actually was exposed to rugby league was when Matthew Ridge went to Manly, and then my parents They were hard out into Manly, and that's why I'm into Manly because my parents. Because
why were your folks hard out into Manly?
Because they were Auckland rugby fans.
Yeah. Because
Matthew Ridge whenever
oh wow.
they just followed them because that was the only rugby league team that they knew had a Kiwi. There was other ones, but that was the one they knew. Yeah, that was the one they knew because it was an Auckland Star.
And why were your folks following league?
I think they just followed because there was sports on. Because my parents, they're sports fans.
Okay, yeah.
They love sports. They love the black cap. Or they weren't black caps back then, but they love anything to do with sports. Came on TV. Like they're into the cricket. They're into the rugby league. Anything
Is that because that's what was on? Because I remember my folks were the same.
Oh yeah.
So like my mum was Days of Our Lives during the daytime.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the sports. Like I was funny watching the tour. So watching the tour game, when they started getting whooped, it reminded me of my mum.
Oh.
Because all the All Blacks, all the tour games we used to watch back in the days, she'd just be hater. Like as soon as Samoa started, the Manu and that. Yeah. And she was it was the hardest to watch because she was just the biggest hater. As soon as we started losing, she was always the first critic, just to critique their game, and I used to get frustrated, like, hey, it's not even finished, just wait, man. Yeah. But yeah, she was always like that. So yeah, watching them capitulate like that, I was like, oh man, I can just picture my mum now, like just, my moa.
But they were like that, my parents were hard out sports
just
fans.
Hard critics, yeah.
They're always into All Blacks, into Manasomo. Like my dad always taped it on the VCR. Like all these tapes, these old school tapes back at my parents' house. but that was my only exposure to sport at a young age was through my parents because they would watch all the games, even though and there was like a thing at home. Like that's where all the shouting, go. Oh, you just get into it, eh?
Yeah, because I guess that's the thing. Like, it's just their excitement. Like, sports is sports. Yeah, no language for sports. Just
So nah, but it's funny because my man's not here anymore. But my mom, she watches. Because I went over the other day and she was hard at watching the WWE.
Oh, true.
And like, she gets into it like it's real. Like she honestly gets into it like hard out. And I was watching that, I was like, man, I remember this like back in the days when I was a kid, thinking it was real too.
Oh, so she's still watching it as
she loves watching wrestling.
Like today, like
yeah.
Man, I haven't watched it so long. Like, it's crazy.
So when I was there, it was the Roman Reigns. So he had the whole thing with Logan Paul. Apparently they're gonna fight.
So the thing, so I watched it when it was like the big hype, and then I've dropped off. So why is your mum still watching it?
Man, she was a fan when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I think she's
like,
never.
So she's a true fan. Like,
yeah.
It's not like us because it's the only thing on. She's like looking for it.
Yeah. She's looking for
to
it.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, she's out of.
Yeah.
But it's funny. When I was there, she was screaming at the TV, like, "Hey, that's not. It's not real."
It's real, man. It's real. We told you it's not real. Oh, shucks. That'll be buzzy to watch. Like, still into it though. Like, that's a real fan. Then, like, because I guess that's the thing. You see those stadiums. There's stadiums full of your mum. Like,
packed.
These fans that are like, that's my favorite guy. Like, don't touch him because there's no script in the belief of them. Like, same as your mum. Like, if you told your mum, nah, mum, before the fight, they have a plan and they tell each other who wins, who loses. Like, It's just like us when we were kids when they told us it's fake. Like, it's not fake because the fake we were told, like, that's not real punches. It's like, no, it's real punches, but like it's planned, like how we're gonna finish the fight. So yeah.
Nah, it was cool. It was cool to see. Because I was trying to get back into when I was there, I was like, man, maybe I should get back into watching
the wrestling.
Get that
Oh, surprise! Roman Reigns is still there.
I don't think he's The Rock though, because he was talking. I was like, nah, you're not The Rock, bro.
Yeah, that's the thing is, a lot of the wrestlers there's no one like, because he wasn't the best wrestler, but he's the best, showman. Like, and I guess that's the thing. Like, we love the wrestlers like Marty Jannetty, all of the wrestlers.
Yeah.
And then The Rock came along, and then we're like, man, love his showmanship. And then all these other guys who could do amazing things, like, nah, you're not The Rock. It's like, yeah, well, you see his mean ass move, like, yeah, but he's thinking his speeches.
I almost wanted The Rock to go back to wrestling. He was the man.
Oh yeah, and I think that was the part of sports entertainment that he brought, like, totally different from what we grew up with. Like, it was always about the fighting, the DDT, figure four, leg lock. It was like, what's their finishing move? And then this guy is like, what's his speech? Like, I don't care about the Samoan drop or your stink ass moves. Yeah, because his fucking finishing moves was stink. And it wasn't until him that you realize. So I think that's the thing. The Rock changed the dynamic of wrestling, because it's like, oh, your speeches are mean, but now that I watch the wrestling, like, bro, you got the stink-ass moves. And then when you watch his stink-ass moves, then you're like, oh, bro, I was like celebrating atomic drop. It was just like, this fat guy just do his leg on someone and that puts them out.
I think that's on my bucket list though, to go to a live WWE match.
Oh.
Have you been to the ones that came?
No, not even the ones that came. Like, my nephews went to them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they loved it when I was, that was their generation. So my boys were like too young after the Rock kind of generations when those came. Yeah, but my nephews were right into it. They had like Rey Mysterio masks and everything going for it. Yeah, I think that's when it was like the PK all of that generation.
Because when I had Junior and Tama on, because they were telling the story how they went, because Junior wasn't a John Cena fan until he went to the live.
Oh, true.
Yeah, and then he became a fan just because of the live. So it must be something different, eh?
Yeah.
Seeing in real life, eh? Just the atmosphere and all that must be crazy.
Well, I guess it's like footy too, like like rugby. Like kids can watch it, and then it's not until they go to a game. Like,
So you've been to a State Origin game, eh?
yeah, man.
What's the atmosphere like?
It's just different, eh? Like, even like just simple things like wearing a jersey. Like we come to Starling and we're used to wearing a jersey.
Yeah.
So we go there, and now you turn up there. You're odd one out if you haven't got a jersey. Like, anyone who's not wearing a jersey is like, what are you doing here? Like, you just get taught about this thing that you have to get invited to and turn up. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, so, like, we used to think we were weird. Like, you guys get all dressed up, blah, 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 as the Wednesday night. Yeah, turning up to that game was like, because even like, the Blues games here, not everyone has a jersey.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
But Origin's such a different thing. Like, if you're not there with your colours, it's like, what are you here for then? Yeah.
I believe that. You said that.
Yeah.
I believe that, eh?
Just such an occasion though. Like, just that.
That goes to show how much passion that brings out on people, eh?
Yeah.
Wow. See, imagine if New Zealand rugby had a thing like a North Island versus South Island Origin.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing. I guess they've touted it for a long time. They probably have that same challenge. Like, it would be the same thing, because as North Islanders, we'd be hundies. Like, there's no way. Like, this is my origin. And it'll be cool because you'll still have even those people who grew up in the South. That'd be true, like, because that's one thing I noticed, like, with the Auckland Blues. Because it's a franchise, you see all these people who grew up in Auckland wearing all these other jerseys. Like, hell no. But you never see, in Canterbury, you don't see people who born in Canterbury wearing a Blues jersey or Waikato. No way. Like, you just get disowned if you try that stuff. So, yeah.
So we're a bunch of bandwagons in Auckland, are we?
Yeah, I don't know what Auckland's about, but that's my argument for the Warriors. Is like, if New Zealand had a league team based out of maybe Wellington or Christchurch, they'd do so much better because of that tribalism you talk about. Like, you know, there's that we've got to focus. We are, you know, Cantabrians or we're Wellingtonians, and it's very different from the Auckland. Like Auckland's a melting pot, and so we've got, you know, everyone celebrates their own culture, but you don't feel like I'm an Aucklander. Like, yeah, I'm an Aucklander, but it's not that same kind of, yeah.
Because that's one of the reasons why I left supporting the Warriors. I went back to Manly Seagulls because they changed the New Zealand Warriors. Because I wasn't identifying with New Zealand as a whole. Because I'm Auckland through and through. Like I'm a Jeffer. Like fuck the rest of New Zealand.
So you used to be Warriors and now you're Manly. So this guy's just jump wherever.
I used to be Auckland Warriors. So,
but not one New Zealand Warriors anymore.
Not one New Zealand Warriors. Like, see, as far as I was concerned, Canterbury is part of New Zealand, so I don't agree. I'm just a hard out, passionate Auckland. This is my city. There's no one else, you know?
Yeah, and I agree. Yeah, and I relate with that. Because when it comes to the Blues, like, I understand that. And then, like, the Warriors been through their phases. So that's the thing. Like, for me, I'm, like, kind of stuck with Warriors because, like, nah, that's my team now. Like, I'm going to stick with them through and through as a franchise, as the Warriors. But, yeah. It's hard.
But I don't even know what the prerequisite is, because with me thinking to change teams, because, you know, when I support NBA teams, I always chop and change.
Yeah.
But when it's NFL, I'm only one team.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I don't know what the difference is.
So what, you have your NBA team?
It's changed over the years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Based on what? Like just
I think based on the player that plays for them.
Okay, yeah.
And I always have this argument with Ice because he says, man, because he's always been New York Knicks, no matter what. But I've changed when my favorite player retires from the team. I'll find another favorite player and I'll go for his team.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I always change.
Well, I don't know, like, yeah, I guess it's the same thing because it feels far removed because it's like, wow, we're not from those cities and we don't even know the players, so it's not even the same argument. Like, I'll choose that because I know someone who lives there. But yeah, it's the same for Origin. Like, well, why can't you chop and change Origin then? If your favorite player is now a New South guy. Because it's the same kind of argument. Like, why wouldn't you chop and change the same then? If it's like, my favorite Queenslander is now retired. And Clary is, I love that guy. Now I want to be New South. Can I do that?
No. But see, my origin of where I chose New South Wales, because it was at the point where I was surrounded by New South Wales fans, and I had to make a decision. This is back in third form, because I never knew anything about Sam Roger or anything during that time. So I wasn't watching league. I didn't know anything about Sam Roger at that time. And when Sam Roger came around, the school was divided. And all the
what swayed you?
It was just the guys in my form class that were all New South Wales fans. So they told me.
So you wanted to be like,
they told me, who do I support? And I said, I don't know. Oh, well, you're New South Wales. Okay.
Oh, because you were in a Queensland.
Yeah. Because I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
So they just told me
they just told you.
Me a New South Wales supporter. Okay, I will then. But there was the years where we were winning.
Oh, okay, yeah.
With Andrew Johns and that. So they're, that's my team. Ever since, so it was like, that was set off for me. Mm-hmm. But there was no inkling to change over, because it'll be like a no kind of thing, because too many people knew I was,
it's funny,
one thing.
Because I remember, like, my kids, like my boys growing up, I just drilled it into them that they're your Queenslanders. So I bought them jerseys and everything. Yeah. And I think because, when they grew up, we were winning, so it helped. But then as they came to start enjoying league themselves, that's when we lost. And so I was like, oh, just. But it's I think that's the thing. It's just that tribal, because they've stuck to it. Like even the bad years, they're like put up like, oh, everyone's like going on about it at school. Yeah, but now they're like Queenslanders, like gone through the losing, and now they're cocky ass. Like, yeah, I was like, oh yeah, these guys are Queenslanders now.
So how'd you start being the Queensland?
No, yeah, so I was the same. Like, didn't follow league, but I remember coming home from some listening social, and the family was watching the State of Origin. It was like a Wednesday night. Yeah, and so it was just from that night, just chilling and then watching, and then just choosing a team from that night. Just, I think it was the same night Martin Bella played the ball backwards when he got knocked out, and then he played it backwards, and I think it was just like an iconic moment. I remember that game. Yeah, but I don't even know if we won or lost, but it was kind of like made a choice then because like my family was the same, like split, like somewhere New South, somewhere. Yeah. And so I don't know if I just kind of went, even the numbers. Because I was young, like, not even passionate, just like, whatever, I'll choose this team. So, like, even then, like, years after that, wasn't really phased about win or loss. So it wasn't until those Starling days that it became like a big deal, like,
Yeah, that was the... I'm trying to remember my first Starling experience. Because, Jack was living next door.
Oh, yeah.
I can't even remember. But I think it was Roger that talked about how there used to be fights. Hey, fights
so that was
inside,
before I came. Yeah. So I think that was back.
But I vaguely
might
remember.
Have been just Roger and
I vaguely
John.
remember those fights. I remember Cav's always there. He's the one that had all these funny things. His Matt Singh, his Chimpan Singh.
Oh, yeah.
Comment. But I remember I came in, and I think I came in, and the first year I came in, Laurie Daly was playing.
Oh, wow. Okay. Man, that's going back.
And E.T. and those guys, they were playing. So that was the heyday for New South Wales there.
Well, yeah, was that in the garage when probably no projector then, just like...
Yeah.
What were you watching on, like on just a normal TV or something?
Because I can't remember, but these were household names at the time, and that's all I got. Like, because like I said, I wasn't a league fan. I was a rugby union fan.
It's just whatever's on.
Because it was hard to get those games in New Zealand anyway, unless you had Sky.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. So I remember league was always like a Sunday thing, and it wasn't many games. So. Yeah, you think Winfield Cup, like you watch what we get to see now. It's like a full program. Like I know it's 26 weeks. I know it's like every Friday until Sunday. Whereas back then it was like Sunday, like maybe Sunday grandstand. You might get a league game.
Sunday grandstand.
Yeah. And so it wasn't like guaranteed league game. So I think because Sunday grandstand was pretty much where you watched it, so it depends on what they decided to put on for you, I think. So I think that's why it was like few and far between. Like any league games you remember was just mainly footy, like mainly union. But it just depends on what. After going out, you just sit down and watch rugby and like, that's a boring game. I was going to sleep. If it's not that, it's country calendar. It's like, I'm definitely going to sleep.
So, you gonna start up your podcast?
Man,
ran out of IT people in the street. Because that's the thing, That's the thing that I really, really noticed about your podcast was the amount of Pacific Islanders in the industry.
Yeah, and
limited, very limited.
Real limited and real limited to IT. Like Yeah, so I don't, I was, yeah, like, yeah, it's just, I don't, yeah, maybe it's just a networking thing, but yeah, really limited to the IT space, and yeah, trying to encourage people to get there, because so from where I came from, I kind of thought it's a natural progression. You kind of, you know, you see, if you're working with systems, you kind of think, oh, this is broken, like, how can I make it better? How can I get in there? But no, I don't see that. I don't see people kind of thinking like that. Like, oh, I can make this thing better, or yeah. So there's no real avenue for. Maybe I'm an outlier, like the way I came through it, thinking, oh yeah, I did this, and I want to get into IT. So yeah, in terms of pathways, I'm really struggling to find people to come into the sector from Pacifica, especially. So I've got a graduate at the moment from he's an Indian guy, and he's helping me. But I had one girl, and she was Cook Islander, and so she's keen to come into the industry. But yeah, other than that, it's hard to find people who want to do a rotation in IT. Yeah, so I don't know what drives that. I don't know if they just.
I was thinking about like how, you know, how there's a lot of different businesses out there that are owned by Pacific Islanders, and IT is all about information technology and solving problems. Like, how can we help these businesses
Yeah.
be more organized or solve their problems, or because it's all about it's a vague sort of subject, like
Yeah,
when it comes to business, because you got to think about what the business is in the first place. Is it like a sales thing? Is it a services thing? Is it
what are we actually trying to solve?
What problem are you trying to solve?
Yeah.
And do we need that on that level?
And I think that's what I think the shift in mindset is that needs to happen, is that a lot of these businesses are going to be IT based. Like, so, you know, they'll start out with the aspiration of like, you know, I want to help these people, I want to do these things, and I'm going to do it by doing whatever. And so whatever they're thinking of that they're going to do today is kind of going, cool. If you aren't on the ground, how can you do that remotely? And I think it's kind of like helping people, like a lot of industries, because they're a lot of our hummels and our people are down on the ground. So they'll be doing community work, you know, they'll be working in, you know, charitable community organizations. So one of the ladies we caught up with lately from work, she's doing a lot of work with Mr. T, who does repairing bikes and stuff. So that's a very manual kind of work, you know, you got to fix the bike and stuff like that.
Is it that rapper? The Samoan rapper?
Is it?
Mr.
Maybe
T.
from Mangry.
There's a Samoan rapper in Samoa called Mr. T. Is it the same guy?
Kairo, maybe.
Fica mais de
Is he in
that
Mang?
song?
Oh, no, it's not that guy. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe if he's based house, you know. Yeah, so there's got this guy out in Mangere, so he does, he just fixes up bikes and stuff for the community. And so Auckland Transport's partnered with him to do, like e-bike trials. So for the families out south, it's like they hear about these e-bikes and stuff, but it's like, sorry, this your e-bike's 5,000. I can buy a car for my whole family. Why I want to buy your bike? So they're just trying to change mindsets. Like, here's a e-bike, learn how to ride it, and then try it for a couple of weeks, so they can kind of try and see, you know, can I get to work? Is it going to make a difference for me and my family? And so they're trying to like just trial stuff like that. But all of those kind of things, it's like, well, that's where our people are at. Our people are on the ground, you know, talking to people, helping them, and yet how do we get them into the IT space? And it's like, well, how do you transfer those jobs? So that's going to take a long time, because the work that they do is very manual, but it needs to be like that. You can't have like, because I guess that's the switch, like to move that. Most people go, cool, what are the important questions that you ask them, and let's put that in a web page and make people answer those questions. Like, that's not like that. And so that's the hardest thing with IT, is that IT, you know, back to what we were talking about before, like languages and numbers. IT tries to go, cool, what's the cookie cutter? What's the 5 things that we need to for them to answer, and then we'll be able to solve their question. Whereas like humans aren't like that. Like you can't go 3, 5, 1, cool, here's 8, and that's gonna work for you. And I think that's the hardest thing, is that as Pacifica, how do we transfer them from those really dealing with people to dealing with IT stuff? And so maybe it's helping them to transition the way they work with people locally to going, cool, how do you ask that, or how do you engage the same way but through IT, you know, through an app, through a website? Because I guess that's the hardest thing, is trying to cookie cutter and go, oh yeah, just get people to fill out a survey and then we'll be able to deal with them. Whereas our people are like, no, we know that people are different and we have to be out there and work with them individually to make an impact. Yeah. So trying to expect us to come into this industry is such a far removed concept. It's like, yeah, I don't know how we bridge that gap to try and get them to go from being down on the ground and helping people individually to going, how do you program that so that people can do that en masse?
Because do you think it's a poverty thing where you have to educate them to use the technology? Because when I say poverty, it's a lot more than just being poor. It's using the resources that's free for people, or able for people to use the resources that are out there. When I talk about resources, I talk about internet, talk about apps, talk about technology, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Where you can have your phone, but do you know how to use an app that's relatable to what you can do in real life? So, say for instance, if you look in, you know, when I think about the bike situation, like South Auckland is mostly flat. So that's a perfect, they've got the perfect topography to ride bikes around, right? So it makes sense.
Yeah.
But how do we educate that? How do we convey that South Auckland is a flat place that you can ride a bike, and it's more easier for you to do that. But more importantly, how do we get them trained to know how to use the technology? Because you know how banks, you know, people don't go to banks anymore unless you really have to get money off the counter or get a loan or something. But everyday transactions are done through internet banking and on apps, your NZ app or ASB app or whatever it is. Because I read that a lot of Pacific Islanders are not used to that, the internet, the apps, and using the internet banking. They're more going over the counter sort of people. That's why the banks have left South Auckland, and they're being replaced by those finance
companies.
Yeah, those finance companies.
Yeah, because they can go in there and deal with a person.
Yeah, because it's not like because they can see.
Yeah.
And the finance companies they prey on it. Wow. Because, you know, if you want to go to a bank in South Auckland, you probably have to go to Manukau Mall, or it's not the mainstream sort of thing.
Yeah, so
what I'm saying is, like, maybe the answer is how can we get people more into technology? I think that's where we start, and then we can go from there. And
I think maybe we've got the wrong approach, because I guess because we're so close to Western society, we try and follow this. But maybe that's where we're getting it wrong. From your example earlier, you know, Samoan language is quite basic, almost similar to Chinese. And so maybe that's probably the route we probably need to learn by. Like the way we count, you know, furukasi, like we're saying the same thing, 10-1, 10-2, 10-3. Maybe we need to learn maths and, you know, the Chinese way. Like, however they teach their kids, maybe that's probably the education we probably fits us better. Kind of learning, you know, if we want to learn coding, rather than learning from an English perspective, we probably need to learn from a Chinese perspective. And we've got enough Chinese in Samoa that we probably can succeed. Because, I think we've got the same basis as them, like a simple language. And if we learn how they learnt, like, keep your language the same, and that's how you learn coding. 10-1, 10-2, 10-3. Yeah, maybe.
Mm.
Something in that. Like, yeah, just the switching of where we're getting our learning from. Because I guess a lot of our internet learning, our kind of that learning comes from Western society based on English, which probably is slowing us down because we're having to translate it to English, understand it back in Samoan, and then apply it. Whereas we got the concept from China or something, it would probably make a lot more sense and go, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. Like, yeah, because you think like, well, I know for myself and like some of my family, they're real good at, maths. Samoans are just the same. Like, we struggle with English concepts, but when it comes to maths,
we're good.
Yeah. Like we do maths quite good, and like, oh man, we're pretty good at maths. So maybe it's the same concept. Like
in Samoa, they're really good at maths.
Yeah.
In the school, I think maths is the number one subject in Samoa.
Yeah. And I guess it's probably the same concept because of the way we count. We get up to 10. We don't say 11. We say 10-1. We say sefulu and tasi.
Good point. Yeah, we do. So maybe that's what, man. That book is right.
Yeah,
that's why
it traverses the languages too. Because we go lua, so we say 2, 10, 1. Lua sefulu tasi.
Yeah,
tolu sefulu tasi. We're exactly the same.
Yeah, and it's right in front of us.
3. Yeah,
because when we say it, we can see the numbers.
Yeah. You say 3, 10, 1. That's not like 3, 10. We don't say tolu sefului. We just say tolu sefulu tasi. We just like 3, 10, 1.
I don't know.
It's the exact same language. So
I should have followed that when I listened to when I read that.
So somehow, if we could get that back into our Samoan education, we'd probably be years ahead of English kind of coding and stuff like that. If we could bring that into our Samoan education.
And they call us Forbes, fucking bastards.
Yeah, and I guess that's the thing, because we've gone off this. These are the smarter people in Western society is the way we should learn. If we're just kind of like taking a bit from here, just... And I don't think it's too late. Like, I think these realizations, like, probably just... Gladwell's bloody book is probably how many years old? We should have caught on to this, but I think that's kind of like where education needs to learn. Like, you can't just go, we've got a Western education and you do things the way England did it. Society needs to change and go, cool, for these students, teach them in their language, or, over in Samoa, teach them in the Chinese state. So I think we've got an opportunity to kind of change things.
Well, that's the whole reason for decolonization, right? To take back...
to bring them in line with
to
these
bring
beliefs,
back,
these are the right ways. Can't write with your left hand, you got to write with your right hand.
Because we're telling them, you came over and conquered us and told us to go your way, but you forgot to bring this along with you.
So I think there's opportunities there that we could kind of unravel and re-educate to fix the way we learn. Because I guess we're going, why are these guys so far behind? Everyone else understands this. It's like, well, if you taught them the way they speak, so I think you just solved something there. Go back to the Samoan Education Board and tell them, tap into the Chinese constituents that are there now. Most of us Chinese anyway. We'll probably be there in about 10 years. Watch this, Samoa's going to be the next coding capital in 10 years. How'd that happen? Oh, it's because they learned Chinese.
And the Western world is worried that China's into the Pacific. Maybe...
So they should be.
They should be worried.
They should be worried about all communism coming from everywhere. Putin is, I don't know what that guy's up to.
Isn't he losing or something? Oh, man.
That's what they say. Yeah, I think that's another Western world narrative.
Silly man. Fuck. What do we do? 3.5 hours?
I don't know how many hours of... You might get 10 minutes content out of this.
Nah, man. They can use the technology and press pause. But, man, thanks for coming, bro. It's been good.
Good to be back on, bro. Yeah.
Good to have you on, man. Like, last time we spoke was at Stacy's stag. Oh, no, it was wedding, in fact. So like, I can't remember anything at the end there. So
I don't remember anything at the end of the stag, bro.
You know what's funny? All I remember was in Eric's car. I remember driving. Hey, where we going, bro? Where we going? We're going home. Let's go to town. Let's go to town. We're dressed up.
Oh no,
We're dressed up. Let's go to town, man.
these guys.
And then he said, yeah. Then next morning you fell asleep.
Oh, true. Oh,
So I took you home.
well, at least you made the call. Yeah, so because I woke up at that same bar, and I was in the toilet, and I woke up. So I was doing this, and the barman was angry. He's like, "You've been in there for an hour." I was like,
Well,
the corner one, the first bar.
Was that the stag?
Kingsland. Yeah.
oh no, I was talking about the wedding. After the wedding. But at the
afterwards,
stag.
Did you try and carry on after the wedding?
That's when, because Eric took me, I can't remember what happened at the end of the wedding. All I remember, I was at the wedding. Next minute, I wake up and I'm in Eric's car.
Oh.
And I remember we're in the tunnel.
Oh, yeah.
The tunnel going
west.
Going west. But I said, Eric, let's go to town, man. We're dressed.
But then you crashed out again.
Then I crashed out again.
The man get in the right lane and then, nah.
Yeah, exactly. Then I went home. But what happened to you on the stag night? Because, you know what happened to me?
Oh.
The same thing. I was with Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
But that guy took me all around till 6 a.m., man.
Oh, sure.
But we were going everywhere. We went to K Road, went to that
How'd you go?
Trilogy.
Did you just jump in a cab everywhere?
man, I don't even know how I got in this car. But it was just me and him. And we went to Trilogy, then went to Ponsonby, went to
Where's Trilogy?
Grand Central. Oh, Trilogy's on K Road.
Oh, yeah.
And then went to Grand Central.
Oh, you did? Oh, because I saw your photos at Grand Central. This guy.
Fuck. Man, that was tragic. That was tragic. Because I can't remember the stag. I remember the bus. I remember getting dropping off at Kingston.
I remember Albany.
But I can't remember getting dropped. I remember getting dropped off at Kingston, and that was it. I can't remember anything else.
Do you remember before that?
Bits and pieces. I remember coming back from Albany.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, I missed that part.
And then, yeah, I just remember getting dropped off at Kingston, and I remember waking up, and I was at Trilogy. And the bouncer came, oh, sorry, you gotta go, you can't sleep here.
My name's not Isaiah.
Sorry, also, you can't sleep here, you
sure.
gotta leave, you can't sleep here.
That's funny how the bouncers are though, like now. Because, yeah, I noticed that when I go to bars now, like, they're all nice. And, like, if I fall asleep, he was. Like, man, you guys used to kick me out hard out before. Now you're just all polite. Like, he was. You're good. Like, yeah, bro. Like,
Good looking up.
you gotta go, bro. It's like, sorry, I'm sober. Like, come on, bro.
There's a new age, eh?
Yeah,
new age.
These guys, no drama, guys.
All right, brother, have a good week, man.
Shuttles. Thank you, bro.
Bye.
Wow.